Good morning, everyone. It's gonna be a short stream today, but we're gonna big chill, I think. Oh, my alarm's going off for me to wake up because I woke up like 20. All right, we got some paperwork that we're gonna do. We're gonna chill. We're gonna see if what we need to catch up on, and we'll probably just end it. We're gonna get cozy though. Good morning, Phil. It's a pleasure. Do I have any? That's the wrong one. Swimming, news, jogging, formal. I got that one. It's a little too informal. That's fine. I'm never gonna give up this bit unless I have to. I'm gonna live with this bit until I die. Good vibes, I'm bringing spooky. We can have spooky vibes. I can change it. Spooky vibes only. Speaking of which, happy Halloween, everybody. It's good enough. Not the blue box? Well, we're sending in the blue box. It's over. Skyler has the high ground. Oh, man. How great is Star Wars? Even the newer movies. I know people are super critical of it, but it's just a fun time. What is this? More like insert lawyer name. I'm hoping that we sort of get away from the courtroom, but we're doing what we're doing. Here, let me actually put on a different playlist. I like for units to be advised when doing robberies. Shift 2 to Shift 3 towards sanitation workers. Bell has made a blah blah blah. Okay, so people are robbing sanitation workers more. Repeated misprocessing. Yilong Ma. Concerning. Not ticketed process. Not ticketed process. No statement. No statement. Empty process. That is he a cadet? This is really good work. Like, this is really good work. Good for them. I mean, they're doing it. I don't even have to read it. Audit checklist. Okay, that's empty. Welcome back, Sergeant Wade Bradford. Oh, that's nice. I don't know who that is, but good for them. Senior Beretta does not revoke weapons. Sure. Shaggy pulls a James Randall. What is Shaggy pulling a James Randall? Thank you for the follow, beautiful soda. Appreciate you. Was advised LSP cadet tour to watch something stairs and proceed to throw. Oh my god! Just threw him over. All right, well they're handling that. I don't have to worry about that. Trippus investigation. This is about Astrid. Trippus named as Edgar's group by unnamed witness. Lemon list pa pa pa. Lemon list pa pa pa. Twatter pa pa pa. Owns Marina. Oh, look at her. Gorilla Gang. Oh, that's what that must be. Arnie with the at 24/7 with shotgun. DJ Dawkins misconduct. Master list closed. What was the close? Master list is crazy and gross. What? Could we put what? What? What does she mean? It's literally a common saying. If you have an officer that continues to perform, I mean, what else? Like, legitimately, not taking into consideration all the issues that the chief boss has. Like, what else would you call it? Like issue compile. I've only ever known it as like definitely concerning. I mean, like, legitimately, like, what would you name it? Because I know basically we're moving away from like for example, you don't want to call the bedroom the master suite anymore. You want to call it the owner's suite, because generally speaking, that's moving away from a specific language that was designed in the 19th century and earlier. So, like, what else would their officer concerns exclamation point? What was this? This was taken 12 hours ago. The idea that you shouldn't be letting command senior build up a laundry list that would be required. No, 100%. You should be handling it like within 72 hours, or at most a week, or if they're on if the issue officer is on LOA or whatever. Few things in the subpoena. Who did this? Oh, this is the this is Anderson's subpoena. I would agree, Scurry. You should be handling it as soon as possible. That way because you can't, even in like not completely separating RP from the real world. Even in the real world, you wouldn't just like, people do this, but you don't want issues to compile, because then you have problem behavior, and like that becomes recursive, and especially when it comes to especially when it comes to like, for example, real life officers or first responders and stuff like that. Those problem behaviors can affect lives, stuff like that. So like, also just in general, like, role players are going to forget a week later. The funniest bit is he includes dates reports of being 45 days old. I mean, if they're reoccurring problems, they should be mentioned, because it shows a pattern of behavior. Because if she's like, if the problem is dealt with, and I'm not gonna sit on this for much longer, because I don't really care about the DJ Dawkins thing, and I want to look at other reports. If there's a pattern of behavior, and it's something that happened 45 days ago, and then 38 days ago, and then 30 days ago, and then 15 days ago, and then 8 days ago, it's exact same thing or very similar, it needs to be brought up. Even if it was quote unquote dealt with. You can't just deal with it and forget it, because one, no one's going to do that. Two, it shows the pattern. So what is this? Then using himself as a Kyle's reason to get votes. This needs to be cleaned up. I don't understand the origin of this. Charlotte has noticed Peter's... Oh, did she just take the... Okay. She's noticed more things. Haley asked if... Okay, no one in high command has spoken to Charlotte months. Bobby Charles, 301, blah, blah, blah. I wonder if there's an image of that. Pred was stalking at MRPD meeting. EMS left the meeting, found Pred outside. He said you didn't see anything and then left. Sure, but we'll need, like, proof or statements or anything. We'll need, like, a statement from EMS if that's the case. I could have said they were seen ambushed by besties today. Peters mentioned that with Pred, officers got ambushed. We need, like... Okay, so this must be just, like, a short list of things. Because we're going to need more than just, this is a thing that somebody said. Okay, I need to actually work on this. And this will be a super easy resolution. Investigations, docket, pending conclusion. 14611. Speak to Scotty concerning Portier's training to ensure add radio training, even if old. DOC. Advise Costello that all members of DOC are fully trained. Hello, my lovely witches and evil wizards and Sushland, that's... You're so silly. It's so funny. Alright, so that's almost done. Easy peasy lemon squeezy. And that is 14611. I'm not even gonna bother checking my fucking subpoenas for Crim Market. I know they're not signed. I don't understand why they're not being signed. I don't understand what's going on, and frankly, I've lost all... I'm not gonna lie, I've lost, like, out of character, I've lost interest. Like, it's just, like, if they want to let it go, they let it go. I'm gonna probably just hand it off to somebody else. Okay, so that's good. Like, it gives me a lot of, like, out of character fatigue to constantly, because I'm on BST, to be in second shift and it be like 4 a.m. and me taking information, recording everything for Crim Market, and then no one else be interested in seeing the result. And so it just feels like I'm just fucking yelling at a brick wall. And I'd rather... I work full time, and I'd rather focus my efforts and the time that I am in server to something that actually will work. We need to work on the Tyler Peters ACR. What is everybody doing for Halloween? I have plans tonight. I have to stay up really late. Osvaldo threatens Spade. Don't care. Seen a car statement about evidence mishandling. Oh, it's a transcript. Okay. Arnie with 20 for... Look at that in a second. Why is this LSPD... Bring it forward to keep all information to the reasoning behind this event. I'm still actively investigating, looking into more likely phone subpoenas. Let me know if you need more info. Also, Jack believes this happened because he informed me while arresting a member of Chaos Legion earlier. He noticed that the patches in their pockets and claimed he was going to start collecting them. He told me he obviously wouldn't do it, but there's a wait on the... We have an outbreak in 5 minutes. We'll probably start it a little bit less. We'll probably start it in like 1 minute or 2 minutes. That way we don't have any pre-rolls. He noticed the patches in their pockets and claimed he was going to start collecting them. He definitely should not have done that. But I don't have to worry about that because PD's handling it. I think that's it. I think that's all the reports that we're caught up on. I don't think it's anything that we really need to, like... Shift 3 command Judas Squaler warrant feedback? Squealer, kind of some... Oh, I don't care. I don't think there's anything else that I really need to, like, read or that I care to read. Is there any EMS on duty? There's not. Ooh, that's actually interesting to me. Oh. Oh, okay. Oh, it's so weird seeing fucking... Oh, the character development over the last year or more for Bobby Belgium. Just, like, something I never anticipated. Massive moonshine operations in the sewers near Grove manhole cover. 14675. There was something that Astrid sent me. Okay. Oh, that's cute, actually. What was it that Astrid sent me? We're gonna start a couple minutes of ads. Just to stop the pre-rolls. Savannah. Yeah, no, I love Nut Jones. It's funny to do the silly RP. Where was it? Molly. Mason Dixie from BCSO stated the medical report was stolen in report 13971. Was found by individuals unrelated to BBMC in 10435. SOB x Hades gang related shooting. That's so many people. Like, genuinely, that's just so many fucking people. What is SOB? Louis Blanc pled question mark? Okay, Mason Dixie did Freya. Warrant being put due to P not properly reporting his legally registered firearm. 2 active reports. Sure. P is being charged with accessory to violent crime, whatever. That's cute. I like how he has it does not make for a really it. I love the gradient. Having all the colors is a little aggravating, but I understand why they do it because we can. Who cares? If they like doing it, they like doing it. I love that he spent the time to make a gradient for his statement. That's so cute. Senior Deputy Wade Bradford. Who is Wade Bradford? Wade Braid Bradford. Fire. Self-proclaimed Giga Chat. Self-employed contractor for the MRJD. Massive moonstone operations. I wonder if there's a massive moonshine operation in the sewers. Think emoji. Fucking dumb. Worm. Okay, so that will actually go into our primary crim market thing. I should do this. There it is. Huh. Okay, I'm gonna delete all of this. And then save. Honestly, I probably should upgrade this to a state marshal report. Okay. Sister reports. Number incident number 1035 something? 10435. Stolen mid equipped by BBMC. On suspect. No, BBMC. Port number 13971. Doctors robbed of med equipped by BBMC. Honestly, if this wasn't ongoing, we're almost reaching the stage where the statute limitations would run out because no one signed my goddamn subpoenas. The fact that they've posted that in 911 multiple times, it feels like bait. I'm not gonna lie. They might actually they may actually try to be helpful, but it feels like bait. Does the new information not help? I mean, it helps. It's fine. It means they are giving it away, but I mean, like, it's not necessarily going to hold up in court, and I'd rather have it held up completely, like, fully in court instead of just possibly. I've done so much court RP over the last like 2 years. I don't have the patience to like sit there and like prep super hard on something that's like 70% likely. Because realistically, right? They could be taking those pictures and posting it hours beforehand. They could be taking the pictures and posting it days beforehand. Hell, they could be those pictures that are taken could have all been taken weeks beforehand and none of it actually be there. Realistically, is that a thing? No, but that is a defense that the defense can pull up. So I'm trying to get confirmation that those sales are actively happening right now for those charges to be there. So it just like I need copies of those records to confirm that they're doing that, like 100%. Otherwise, it's just going to be thrown out, and it's just a waste of time. And I've lost a lot of steam for this anyway. Okay. Ranger Patrol. It's cute. I love the rainbow. It's cute. Are there any doctors on duty? We'll go check on them if they are. There are not. Guess we can work on the Peters ACR. I'm gonna double check the Nino ACR. See if there's anything I really need to do. Not really. This notion prohibition. I wish I could do one single line and like it be equal across all like things. Ashley cooked yesterday and some of her stuff amazing with some great leads. Yeah, I did see that. And then Astrid emailed Sparks and said that there was some stuff. She's getting it. She's getting into it in her own right, which is great. I love that. Plus, it gives me an excuse to roleplay with Molly more. Okay, I think we're done, generally speaking, for like the actual proof that we have for the Peters ACR. Yeah, we missed the dynamic duo. I told her, I DM'd Molly. I was like, I want to see if I can get an artist or find somebody that would be willing to do like buddy cop stuff, like buddy cop art, where we're just standing there like, we're like, ha, back to back, you know? Who does? Oh, it's Alex. Molly loves art. I also love art. I have some really, really, really good Sparks fan art. And it's always made me happy. Beatles artist is a good one. Him and Mustard. Not sure who the artist is, though. Like Andy Samberg and Charles from BB. Yeah. They're more... They're more obviously competent, though, even though the dynamic duo is funny. I love... Let me see if I can zoom in on it. We have the same eyebrows. Molly didn't even know I was playing NoPixel. We have the same eyebrow with the cut on the side. It's so funny, dude. Okay. We can close out the Chavez ACR. I love the concerning tag. Oh, Peters. Same one that has done his PNG tubers. That makes sense. Suspicious activity. Marshal Nova, I lost my edge Galaga. Well, her name is Jessie, but yeah. Bomb threat to Peters. Peters gets his ass beat at Senior Buns.
Привет, Comrade Sparks.
Hello, I'm American and liberal. I'm not communist.
Damn.
What's up, Knight?
It's daytime. But
How are you
it's
doing?
fine.
How are you doing, Alex?
I mean, nothing much.
All right. What you working on?
Nothing.
You don't have any investigations or reports or anything that you're looking into?
No, no. This is day one of me waking up later so I can be with other marshals. So I'm not trapped in the office.
You know that's completely fair. It's September. I don't really care about September.
Usually, I am around at the beginning of shift 3, and then I go until 2 to 3 hours from now. And then that's usually when everyone starts clocking in, and then I clock off, and then I have nothing done on the day. So hopefully I'll be around with more marshals and I get to do stuff and learn more.
That's completely fair. I understand that. What is this?
So I did have one salacious report. I don't know if you've seen. It was very, very mind-boggling. Very, very, very big.
I assume you're
blood in
being
the hallway.
I assume you're being sarcastic.
I found blood in the hallway.
Okay, did
and
you
it
run the
came
blood?
back to nothing. Nobody matched. No match.
Did you tell anybody? Did you tell like a marshal or higher?
Yep.
All right.
I
Well,
told Anna, and she said interesting. Or no, I told Jesse, and she said interesting.
all right. York was responding to incident. Can make Assistant Chief Peters, who had beat his bike to prevent him from repairing it.
I seen we got a little Matt Damon going on. I saw that.
Yeah, and then people are up in arms because they can't fucking Google things. They're like, but this says in this legislation. No, no, no. The writ of mandamus in the legislation that goes over ACR and impeachment says what a writ of mandamus could do in regards to an ACR and impeachment. If you're looking for something that's bound to San Andreas, you can look in the judicial powers and it tells you what a writ of mandamus does. But these people don't care about facts. They only care about their wanton spun agenda without actually receiving or being open to other ideas. So, yeah, so he's suspended and that should go up in the next day or two. LSPD is working on it, so it's not really anything I have to worry about. I ran away from a crash
What, the
bike.
impeachment or the mandamus?
Well, the writ of mandamus is just a directive from someone to request for the government to act on what they were doing, which is what they did, which was suspend pred. So, and the courts gave LSPD like 3 days to post the docket post. So hopefully it goes up. I mean, otherwise he gets his stuff back. Not really, if they fuck up, they fuck up. I ran away, ran bikes, parrot. Why would he do this? September, was this? First seen was incident 9-5. 6-9-5-6-9-6. Why did this motherfucker take an entire month to report that his bike was beat? Oh, a month and a half. What the fuck? Is this the right number? I'm looking at command report 12762 where Peters apparently beat up a suspect's bike to prevent him from leaving for some reason. And then the listed incident report doesn't have. Oh, never mind. I'm dumb and put the wrong number. I put a space. Never mind. I solved it. Hey Tiff, it's good to see you. Welcome in, lovely. Hey Tiff, do you want responsibility so you can ban hate like toxic chat hoppers? You don't have to be in the Discord or anything. You could just ban people when they're being dumb cunts. Parentheses said in Australian. Okay, never mind. I found it. Great. Mod. Perfect.
So how goes the mass shooting with severe lack of PD response?
I haven't really looked into it. If you want to take it, go ahead. Remember, it's not all of our investigations are not like your own investigations. It is the primary lead in the investigation, but all of us share the investigations. So
Well, I usually ask because I see the time it was posted, and that's way out of my thing. And I've never seen Jack. I seen Crystal. I don't know
okay.
who the hell Gus McCringle is. Who
Yeah, I don't
Alex
either.
is. Frodo, I think he was dispatch. So.
Oh, he's an officer. If you see any of them on duty, you can always call him down and be like, hey, I just want to ask you about an incident, blah, blah, blah. And you can just put a note in that. That'll help you keep track of like the people coming in and out. Peters and Hale were on patrol 24/7. Unnamed suspect and Lula Lawson. Blah, blah, blah. Trying to tackle officers. Peter beat Lula Lawson and watched blood fly everywhere. The blood was everywhere. Got in their vehicle and fled. Collected the blood and ran an MRPD. So Peters even what? I don't even think this is really that much of a concern. I appreciate RP injury care. Aw, Jedzilla, thank you so much. I appreciate you. Many hearts, many hearts. We're just here having a good time, playing a completely fake character. So were they arrested on this? They were, okay. Someone said Skylar hasn't discovered the concept of chairs, and I thought, no, she hasn't. She hasn't. I think it's a funny bit. I think it's so funny. It's so stupid. Okay, so what is the exact report? I ran away from the crash bike and hid from cops. I ran to the bike and started to repair it. Opal pulled up to the bike and tackled and tased me. That's a little excessive, but sure. I mean, it's whatever. I broke cuffs and my friend pulled up and tackled Opal so I could repair it. Another male cop with dirty blonde pulled up and started to hit my friend on the head with a baton. I told her to leave and she did. I was then chased around by Opal Price, and the male officer walked to my bike and began to beat it with his baton. I wasn't next to the bike or repairing it when that happened. Then I jumped. Oh, that's concerning. And that shows a pattern of behavior. 9569. And that adds to our pattern of behavior. But it's not like... This in and of itself is not that big of an issue, but it continues to add to the pattern of unbecoming behavior. Unless that ends up being SOPs, and then we wipe it off. Easy peasy. But it's not in SOPs because I downloaded those. Where is... This was 21 September... 21 September 2024. Peters responded
Mind if I ask
a...
you a question about this case?
Which case?
The mass shooting?
Sure.
So I see that you're kind of questioning why he wasn't charged because he was within arm's length of the ammunition crate.
And was GSR
guy-
positive and his vehicle was there and all this kind of stuff? Yeah, sure, go ahead.
Yep. How can you prove beyond a reasonable doubt that it wasn't self-defense? Not questioning. Obvious. It's
not
obvious
our it's not our problem to do that. It's theirs. The burden is on them. Self-defense is an affirmative defense, which means that they have to prove that they were the ones self-defending. It's not our burden to prove.
True, would fall under standing ground. Yeah, because he's clicked out.
He now with respect to what he's doing, because think of it, right? If I'm in a gang shootout and I just go, oh, it's self-defense, dog, that's not the case. You're shooting people and you're trying to do stuff.
Yeah.
I think people forget. I think people, one, are afraid of court, two, of actually doing some fucking work. So.
Yeah, I think it's obvious. It's just like I'm trying to put myself in the situation. I have him down. He's like, I'm Andreas.
That's nice. You can prove that in a court of law. You were this close. GSR positive. Vehicle was there. Why were you there in the first place? You need to prove that.
So
I think people are too lenient on criminals. I think people need to realize that yes, the recidivism in the state of San Andreas is basically 100% for people who offend. They rarely actually rehabilitate despite any best efforts. Beyond that, it is, in my opinion, beyond a reasonable that he was assisting in whatever that was going on. So. Yeah. Could we get him with a theft? Nah. Could we get him with like a gang-related shooting? Nah, but we can get him with criminal use of a firearm. At the very minimum. Honestly, I'd probably just charge the whole kit and caboodle and then let him hash it out in court. That's not my problem.
I see. Interesting.
Don't be a violent criminal.
True.
My level of patience and respect is diminished when you make active actions to hurt individuals that are innocent and not necessarily involved.
So, in that case, if in cases where there's self-defense and there's no other witness but the guy who was shot and the guy who did the shoot, you would let that hash out in court and charge the guy who shot with criminal use?
Sue them civilly. Yes, I would let it hash out in court. That's not my problem. Also, he claims his gun was stolen, but then didn't actively make a report afterwards and has not made a report of it being stolen. He just casually said it in cells. Now, is that part of the fault of the officer for not making the stolen report? Sure, but he should have followed up and made sure that his gun was stolen if he was an active, true, good citizen. The problem is the evidence is too damning. Stanfield's vehicle was backed up towards the crate. It was a super high-powered, crazy vehicle for getaway. He was inches away from the crate. Like, you would run away. You wouldn't just hide behind a crate. You wouldn't go into the middle of the shooting. You would, a reasonable person would run away from the shooting. Why would you go deeper into the active gang-related shooting?
I agree. I like to attack it from like if I'm the defense.
That's fine. That helps you kind of shore up what you're looking to do. Respond to a 24/7 where a motorcycle was
I guess I
involved.
just kind of bite myself because I'm conflicting myself. I'm like, he does got a point. How?
He
Well, I
does
guess
not
he has to prove it. He has to prove it. He has to prove it. He has to prove it.
for
But yeah,
self-defense. Yes, he has to prove it. And if he's able to prove it while he's in cells or whatever, and you're able to be like, okay, you know what, all of that makes sense, and I think in a court of law, there's no reason to go through that. But all he did was go, it's self-defense. You can't just say, oh, I'm gonna hide behind the middle. I'm gonna hide in the middle of this shootout behind a crate filled with guns.
this conversation made me think of another thing.
Hmm.
Let's say someone has something not an M1911, very illegal, but they do self-defense. Does that negate the self-defense? I don't think it says that in the
No,
legislation.
I would charge them for the possession. I would not charge them for the criminal use. I think no, if you have a gun and you are actively truly self-defending, you charge them for the possession. You don't charge them for the circumstance where they are defending themselves. I think that's disingenuous because they are making an active good faith effort to ensure that their lives and the lives of others are defended. The state of mind behind the action, even if it's criminal, is very important when it comes to incel charging. Where a motorcycle was involved, Peters was seen by the suspect.
I'll make sure to
Kicking in.
hire you if I have any court cases.
No. You need to defend your own court cases.
Oh. I
Other,
talked to Anna. I guess I can hire a lawyer.
you can, yeah.
That's
I
cool.
recommend getting your own court experience personally. Otherwise, you're just going to continue to hinder yourself. And if you end up after a few court cases not really enjoying it or something that you end up not wanting to do, then hire a lawyer after that. But nine 569 12762. Yeah, I like Dark Academia to focus. I listen to it while at work and stuff. There's one in fact. Okay, Peters' claim, blah, 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 dereliction of duty. Is there anything else that's listed in command reports that has his name? I don't think so. I think that pretty much sums it up. Hydra shooting LSPD. What is this? Hydra shoots because PD exists. Classic. This is an issue. This is an issue with Peters. This is just, it's a funny statement. This is patrolling an air one looking for suspects selling narcotics. Sure, standard line of duty. Call 911 let the PD know there. He was going to attack. Okay, it's just Hydra being fucking dumb. Okay, so there's nothing else in that particular portion. So we have cumulative misconduct. To abuse actions that have that produce cumulative misconduct. As a law enforcement officer, high members assisting oversee bound by public servant. These duties are bound, blah blah blah. As listed ad nauseum. Assistant Chief of Police Peters is required. Present themselves. What's the exact definition of cumulative misconduct?
I forget if I asked this. What are you working on currently?
Impeaching 2 members of the government.
Mm.
I have a task list if you're ever curious. It's just 030 Skyler Sparks task list, and that goes over everything I'm doing. Conduct. What is the exact... Any individual is found to be involved in a series of incidents of misconduct and appropriate behavior for the office they hold, but the quality and type of misconduct are important with determining any punitive actions to be taken. As listed at nauseam, Assistant Chief of Police Tyler Peters is required to present themselves in a professional and nature becoming an officer, a law enforcement officer, and a member of his station. In the aforementioned reasonings, Marshal Sparks urges the court to consider... We're gonna have an ad break here soon, guys. Okay, perfect. I mean, aforementioned reasonings, Marshal Sparks urges the panel to consider each individual one and in accumulation, as defined in impeachments and authority in the legislation. Impeachments and authority conduct review. Legislation number 9198. It outlines what cumulative misconduct. It outlines the generalized definition of cumulative
I was looking at that
misconduct.
DOC assault case or something. Hold on, let me get this specific. The chief of medicine Bourdaire or something at prison report.
Yeah, what about it?
It's another thing where I know Carmine's a part of it, but he doesn't have any. I'm blind. Hold on, let me. Yeah, he doesn't have any statement. Carmine shot Ember, but didn't put any statement.
Well, you're welcome to investigate that and put that together as for like a cumulative misconduct for an ACR if you wanted to. That way you're working on something. That way you're not just kind of sitting there twiddling your thumbs. A lot of us are self-starters, so we end up finding something that interests us and kind of moving towards that.
I mean, would it be fine if I compiled a whole like
Sure.
master whatever the hell doc, but like that's it? Because I don't think I'll ever see Carmine.
Yeah, that's totally fine. You're welcome to do that. If you see like, hey, there's something I can do here, you can make a note and proceed. If you want to see what like if there's any repeated conduct concerning him in DOC, that would be helpful. If there's any sort of belittling or talking down to, if that ends up being something where Officer Costello happens to make those decisions, you can do that as well. That way we can see if there's any disciplinary action, any track record of him improving, blah blah blah. That way it doesn't seem like it's a witch hunt that we're trying to find just facts and information that's been presented to us.
Cool. I also noticed in the statement, a fly around Smith, he's not using names, he's using call signs, which is, I think it's bad. You think it's bad? I think it's bad. This is meant for like, you don't want to use like terms, police terms, for when it gets exported.
DOC reports probably won't ever be exported, and that's up to them. That's not a rule of law. That is an SOP and a good practice effort. I mean, that's up to them. DOC do their own thing. So if that helps them concerning their work, then that's up to them. While they are law enforcement officers, they're not police, and their inner workings are going to be different. Okay. So we need to pull the exact definition. Is this? No, it's not that. It is the quote. Based on the above factors, it is the firm belief of Marshal Sparks that Peters has breached the requirement. Has breached the requirement of cumulative misconduct. I mean, we can go out and list like every single fucking thing again if we really wanted to, but I'm not doing that. It becomes recursive and redundant.
Can I get your opinion on something? So
Sure.
I was checking to see if there was like sort of ACR or whatnot, or like just a compile of Carmine's shit. And I found report 13,130 130000 whatever,
Mm-hmm.
and it's Carmine dot period, and it seems like it's a compile that Craig made. You think I should add to it or just create my own?
I mean, that's up to you. If you think that is something you can build off of, that's fine. If you think that's something that's isolated to a specific incident, I mean, that's up to you. What's the report number?
13000.
Carmine, period. Okay.
Yep.
That's unlawful imprisonment, witness statement, tons of guns. This was September 28th.
Seems like it was created on the 28th, but the processing failure mentioned September 30th. So it seems like it's getting added to, I guess. Let me check the history. It was last updated like 30 days ago, I guess.
I would recommend making a different report and referencing this, being like this is a previous concern regarding behavior showing, further pattern of poor behavior, and then go off of what has been more recent.
Okay. Do you have a a nice template I could use, or do I have to like jerry rig my own?
You'll make your own.
Okay, I see how it is. Jeez, no sharing.
What do you
What
mean?
the hell? We we need to make reports look nice. All the same and nice.
I mean,
Gosh,
yeah,
busy.
sure. Yeah. Okay. Where's the... I put a really good ACR. The Chavez ACR. There's a really good phrasing at the bottom. For this notion, Marshal Sparks directs request and true accurate request for true and accurate authority conduct for concerning the assistant chief of police chief of police Tyler Peters. By the standard, buying through this conduct review, this prayer is set in the hope that the scales of justice be balanced. We don't want to phrase the exact thing. Within this panel, a Marshal Sparks begs for the prayer be heard, and may it be that the sort of justice be and may the actions that brought forth the sword of justice be severed swiftly, and the innocent not be marred by the categorization of disruption. There we go. Easy, flowery, beautiful. Appropriation concerning the active duties and work of the assistant chief of police. This right is presented with the intention to force stop assistant
Alright, the
chief
report's been
of
created. Now I gotta look
police
through all this shit.
Peters for being on the point of active duty until such time as sworn conduct review. Noted reason as follows. The consistent and constant negative negative conduct performed by Peters has become excessively cumulative and created resentment, disruption, and loathing within both the Los Santos Police Department and the Blaine County Sheriff's Office. This is not a person that sits in the position that Peters has been granted should be held to a high standard as that position is inherently
I have a question about the MDT.
political.
So if I reference
Sure.
a report in a state marshal report, so let's say it's an PD incident.
Okay.
Can people who look at the PD incident see the title of like my state marshal report?
No. They wouldn't see referenced in unless they have inherent access to that report. So if they have access to state marshal reports and PD reports, they'll see it was referenced in that report.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yep.
Okay. We probably got like an hour and a half, and then we'll wrap up stream chat. Position should be held to high standard, as that position is inherently political and is in is designed to grant. Yeah, it is. Sorry, a person that sits in the highly respected position that Peters has been granted should be held. FTO Skyler, basically, yeah. Excuse me. I'm very refined. Is that Marshall? It's a cop.
Hi,
Hello.
buddy.
Hi.
You doing okay, buddy?
Yeah, I was wondering if I could have a quick word with you guys regarding a warrant.
Sure.
We're running into some issues. It's not a big deal, but basically I had a file with Sonia Summers, and I submitted the warrant. We've elected to separate them, but the charge that I wanted to push doesn't exactly cover what occurred to me, I suppose, but it's kind of vague, and we wanted to see if either A, it needs to be amended, or if that's something you guys could help with, or if we'd be okay with the push with the charge.
Run us through it. Run us through it from the top.
So, blah, 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 let me just pull this bad boy up for us to make it a little easier. It's going to be incident 10440.
Is incident 10440 the warrant?
Yeah, so there's two separate ones. The original one, I've just made it it was about a assault with a deadly for 2 civilians, but when I was investigating it, this other incident happened, and so I'll run you through it now. But this,
Okay.
yeah, 10440 is the incident that I'm referring to. Specifically, the charge is kidnapping a government employee. So,
Okay.
here's my thought process, and this is where I wish we had like a prosecutor to maybe verify. But basically, while I was investigating this other incident, Sonia came up to me and took me hostage. She ordered me out of the vehicle, took all of my equipment off me, stuffed it in my trunk, and then basically told me that if she sees me around, I'm gonna need an army with me, etc., and that she was threatening me, and that I better get out of Polito and stop my
This officer.
investigation. She didn't actually harm me,
Did you just
and
squeal
all
it?
of my equipment was returned.
Okay.
When I pushed this charge, I was met with some conflict because they're saying, well, it's more like unlawful imprisonment or something. And my logic is simply that, well, yes, I didn't get moved to a drastically different geographical location. I was taken away from my duties and taken from my equipment and effectively taken into custody by her.
How far did
which
she
I feel
move
like
you?
I was in my car in a parking lot. She ordered me out of the vehicle. It was not like it was right there.
So what I would say, those sparks can correct me,
I will.
is I would ask the question. Okay, geez. I would ask the question, did you feel like you could leave?
No, absolutely not. She had a gun to my head.
So, yeah, go ahead.
Well, yeah, she had a firearm to my head. She was threatening me. And again, my logic is, when I look at the charge, all it says is that I'm abducted and held against my will. Which, as far as I'm concerned, abducted, yeah, could mean to a different geographical location, but it doesn't specify a distance. And furthermore, it's not just that. I mean, I was taken away from an active investigation. So at the very least, felony obstruction and all of that good stuff. But I do really feel like kidnapping fits the charge, but it might need further definition, and that's where we're running. That's where the issue I feel like I'm running into.
So what I'm
just
reading the
gonna let
charge,
Alex do
so
it,
that's a
then
government
correct her.
employee. Well, technically, if you look at the letter of the law, when we detain someone, it's seizing a person. We're not actually, like, when you think of seizing, we're not literally taking them and putting them in our pocket. We're just, having
It's
them stay
unlawful
in one
imprisonment.
location. So when I think of abduct a government employee and holds them against their will, you are being held in that area of location against your will. You didn't feel like you could, leave on your own will. I feel like all that comes into play. What do you think, Sparks?
I don't think this is kidnapping. My big rule of thumb when it comes to kidnapping, well, yes, technically an abduction is there. People fight really hard with the letter of the law versus the spirit of the law. I would go with unlawful imprisonment because you weren't physically moved. You don't necessarily need to be another geographical location. Say, for example, if I had a gun to you and moved to the back of the marshal's office, I would still count that as kidnapping, even if some judges don't. you not moving more than like 10, 15 feet, I would put that as unlawful imprisonment.
So the only thing I would say is I completely agree with you, spirit of the law, but I would make the argument counter that. I feel like the spirit of the law indicates that this was kidnapping because, you know, unlawful imprisonment implies, maybe I'm just a civilian or whatever. I was actively a marked LEO conducting an active investigation, and I was taken away from that. And I feel like there needs to be more weight behind that, if you know what I mean. And I'm not saying that the charge necessarily indicates that one way or another. I'm just asking if this warrants potentially going to trial to get case law, or if not that, maybe like redefining it, because I do feel like there needs to be a little more weight to this, because it's not just simply that she grabbed any old person and locked them in a cage. Not that that's great or anything, but I was actively in the service of my duty. You know what I
I
mean?
would agree. If you're willing
Yes,
to
I
make
see.
those arguments in court and you're willing to push through to try to make those changes, go in knowing that you will probably lose. Make the best effort, make those arguments, and make sure that the judge knows that you're trying to make those legal arguments in your closing, and you should be fine.
Yeah.
Worst
If
case,
you
you
want
lose,
the,
and then okay.
I was just gonna say, if you want the safest option, unlawful imprisonment, but if you do really want to push for that, and I do see where you're coming from in your wording, so I mean you can go that route. I mean it's up to you as
So
on
in
how
that
you
case,
want to
then
push it.
can we push that warrant? And then I'm not gonna. That was the other thing. I pushed it, but ultimately there was a conflict of interest, obviously, because I was the victim. So that's why I've made it into two separate
As
incidents,
you
and
should
we're
have.
gonna
Correct.
have somebody else take over. But before I did that, I wanted to talk to you guys because I don't want to pursue it if it's not worth it. But I strongly feel that there's a case for a further definition in this regard, because it wasn't, you know, robbery because all of my equipment got returned. But it was definitely more than just unlawful,
It's
confinement or
still
whatever.
robbery. If they have it for 0.1 second and they took it away from you violently, it's still robbery. But that's up to you or whoever the
Okay.
processing
So,
officer
well,
is.
maybe then maybe I should explore that then a little bit further.
I would charge her with brandishing. What is a firearm? Brandishing of a firearm, a robbery of a government employee, unlawful imprisonment, and felony obstruction of justice. Are the 4 charges just based off what you told me? I would charge her with.
Okay.
But again, if you're
Yeah,
looking,
I had criminal threats and criminal use of a firearm, I think, but I had removed it because I didn't want to stack just on top of the kidnapping. But yeah, again, like, yeah, it's kind of tough. I
well,
don't.
the
So
kidnapping
you're saying,
is kind of an umbrella charge, and if you don't go with the kidnapping, then you have the ability to charge all the tiny ones in the bottom. I mean, you can still
yeah,
charge
and
all the
that,
tiny ones in the bottom. It's just not. You probably shouldn't. Just because you can doesn't mean you
yeah,
should.
and I know, and it's more to me. It's not about that as much as I think there needs to be a little bit more of a clearer definition. I don't really
Yeah, go
mind either
for
way.
it.
And like felony obstruction and unlawful imprisonment work fantastic, and that's fine. But I just felt that I don't know. I felt kidnapped. To be honest with you, I felt kind of kidnapped.
Then push for it. Worst case, you lose, and her recidivism rate is going to be 100%. She's going to do this shit again. So worst case, you spend a
Yeah.
day, you do your best, you walk out, and you go, all right, whatever. Best case, you get something changed, and you get something going for her. I don't
So
think it's a lose either way.
wouldn't in a court. So I think didn't we have a case where someone we pushed murder, but they went down to manslaughter? So couldn't they go from that charge down to unlawful
Well, they shouldn't have
imprisonment?
fucking done that because it was a hut charge. But regardless, if it's a bench trial, yeah, they can do that. But if it's a court, like a regular court, like an appeal, no, they can't do that, or they shouldn't be able to do that. So yeah, no, I think you should go for it. Worst case, you already know going in that you're kind of testing the waters. You seem really confident. I think you should try. So
And then, so that's the other thing. I mean, ultimately, if she pleads guilty, like this is depending, of course, if the warrant gets, she gets caught and all of those good things. I mean, in
yeah,
theory, so if she pled guilty to that, does that automatically set precedent?
no,
Just to clarify.
No, no,
No.
no. That
Okay.
has to be through court.
yeah, and it has to be established in the legislation for case law and common law. Otherwise, it doesn't matter.
Okay. So it would be served the same, but it wouldn't set any kind of precedent. So I actually need to push this to the docket, basically.
You have to hope that she appeals it. Yeah, otherwise, there's no reason to bring it to the docket.
Okay. Interesting. All right. Well, thank you. That answers my question for
Yeah, no
sure.
worries. What was your
I
name?
appreciate
What was
that.
your name, senior officer?
My name is Judith Squealer.
Judith Squealer, Marshal Skyler Sparks. Pleasure.
Nice meet you guys.
And
I think
Alex and I,
I
but
think we met you guys at
yeah,
the
yeah,
academy.
not
You
her, but
used to
me.
look like Jesse. I don't. What happened?
Oh, it's just that time of the month.
Oh,
Yeah, dye your hair every month or so. But yeah,
I love Toy Story 2. It's one of my favorite movies.
It's a good movie. It's very dark, but it's a good movie. Actually,
Yeah.
all of them are really
I don't
good.
like the guy with the Cheeto fingers. It freaks me out.
Oh, it's so disgusting. Just use chopsticks.
It's hideous. Yeah, it's hideous.
Kids.
Well, enjoy that memory. I should go now.
Hate that. Hate
Okay.
that.
One more thing.
Yeah.
You know, worst case. If there is no appeal, she pleads guilty to all those charges. I mean, you could just hit up a judge and ask about it. Maybe get something rolling.
Yeah. Okay. Interesting. Yeah, because if again, yeah, if she's pled guilty
No judge
to it,
doesn't do that.
maybe I could be like,
I'm not gonna
hey,
correct it.
look, you. She admitted it, so clearly it should be there. Yeah, I feel like there needs to be something in between there because it just felt wrong. I felt dirty.
Just do your best. That's all you can do.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, I appreciate your guys' help. That's awesome. Okay.
No
So,
worries. Have a good one.
if
Seeing
you
off
guys
to
need
Squealer.
anything,
Yeah.
yeah, you too. If you need anything, you let me know. Okay.
Will do.
Anything in the whole world.
Have a great shift.
Okay,
Don't get
I got
shot.
Oh, I'll try.
He's not gonna win.
Whoa. I don't know. I thought my argument was kind of nice.
It is an argument, yes, but it's not a good argument.
What the hell?
It's unlawful imprisonment. She didn't move him significantly far. Does there need to be more weight behind it? Yeah, that's why you charge intentional obstruction. That's why you charge the brandishing and all the others that will accumulate higher than the kidnapping. Because the kidnapping being an umbrella charge, you get rid. Technically speaking, you should get rid of all the other mini charges. So I would just charge her with a bunch of small charges that equal higher time and fine than the one charge. That's where the extra weight comes in. I've had this argument ad nauseum for years about kidnapping and unlawful imprisonment. Realistically, if I was, held at gunpoint and moved from here to City Hall, that would be kidnapping. But if I was moved from here even to the back of the Marshal's office, it wouldn't be kidnapping. It'd be unlawful imprisonment. There has to be some sort of significant movement for a kidnapping charge. That's the general spirit of the deal. Okay, so a request for an ACR literally says, we think this person has done X, Y, and Z that's real bad because they're in a government position. So what happens is it goes before a panel of judges or like different people. They review the information. It goes kind of like a court case. And they're like, okay, he had totally done this thing. Okay, he totally didn't do this thing. Or he did do this thing, but it's not that bad. Or he did do this thing and it was real fucking bad. So he could be fired. What more than likely will happen is that will be a forced demotion. That's it. And prohibited from having the position that he has again, realistically speaking. Same thing like with the one for Chavez. Most likely this will if he's found like to have broken that. So here, I'll pull up the legislation. This doesn't automatically fire a thing. This literally just says, hey, court, there's some stuff that we're worried about. We would ACR her and impeach her. And even then, an impeachment isn't in firing. An impeachment just gets them, at minimum, removed from their position and demoted. Impeachment doesn't mean they're removed necessarily from office. They could just have a severe, they could be suspended. And there could be an interim chief of police. People make this way bigger than it actually is. It is a big deal, but it's not, oh my god, everything is done and over with. Oh my god, life is ruined. Nah, bro, chill, it's fine. It's just it's a formal hearing. That's it. It's like a panel. Right here, any consequences, removal from office, a censure which says publicly outlining the failures of the individual entity reviewed, a sanction which means they could be fined. Hell, us putting an ACR in for Peters, he could just get like a $30,000 fine for being a bad cop. And even then, he's not a bad cop. His attitude just gets fucking in the way of things. That's it. Over the last 24 hours, I've reviewed nearly every report that Peters has been involved in or done, and the character is not a bad cop. He is just fucking... His attitude is shit, and he shouldn't be assistant chief of police. If the Department of Justice is convinced that the failing is so egregious that lesser corrective options are unable to provide sufficient response, they hold the power to remove the individual. That's it. That is so egregious. That's it. And that would be like shooting suspects in the middle of a scene when they didn't have like actively breaking laws, right? He could just get a public posting, an official notice of censure from the court publicly posted outlining the failures of the individual and the entity reviewed. He literally could just get a fancy post that says, Peter's bad, like Bloom bad. That's it. But we have to do it the correct way. We have to go through the process and formally introduce it. Because that is the right thing to do. Or at least what Sparks believes is the right thing to do. Peter's the perfect character to be an officer of senior rank, but you never give them any actual power. The reports are fine, and he makes good decisions, but he lets his own hubris get... The character's hubris gets in the way of the character's ability to become a command member. That's it. The character is... The character has flaws that get away... That get in the way of the position. And thus, those flaws cannot go uncorrected. Discussion. The consistent, constant negative conduct performed by Peters has become excessively cumulative. Cumulative. I can't spell. Cumulative. I think the big thing is people don't talk about like what will happen and what this intention is and blah blah blah, so everyone just doom spirals for no fucking reason. Consistent and constant negative conduct performed by Peters has become excessively cumulative and created resentment, disruption, and loathing within the standard rank and file of Los Angeles Police Department, Blaine County Sheriff's Office. A person that sits in the highly respected position that Peters has been granted should be held to a high standard, as that position is inherently political and designed to lead. In these actions, Assistant Chief of Police Peters. In these actions, Assistant Chief of Police Peters have been alleged. Assistant Chief of Police Peters should not proceed with his position until such time as the authority. No, sorry. Yeah, I was right. Authority Conduct Review has been performed in its entirety, either to find guilt in the actions of Peters or in his exoneration. Because at the end of the day, Sparks doesn't want people to be fired. She's designed to be a lawful good person. She wants people to be able to do their job, respect individuals that follow through on that job, and perform their position, if they are a sworn peace officer or government official, to the duties that they have without dereliction. And so if someone can like stands up and they prove that all of it is bullshit, Sparks goes, oh my god. She will go, literally, oh my god, that's great. I love that I'm wrong. I hope that you continue. However, the pattern of behavior that has been presented to Sparks thus far, uh, will most likely that will not be the outcome that she does. When you have someone as the chief of police, well, yes, funny bit, haha, content, saying, you know, be a CSO to my dick or marshals to my dick, and like having other LEOs and tearing them down when they are by the Constitution and by the powers enumerated in the what is the legislation, powers and definitions of law enforcement officers, legally required to work together in a professional manner, and saying that over and over consistently is exceptionally unprofessional. Funny content, unprofessional, against the law. Sparks is going to turn into the Grim Reaper knocking at the door meme. I hope it doesn't come to that, but it would be funny. In these actions, Chief of Police Peters either define guilt at such time. Thus, we are requesting a suspension of his duties.
Can you run me through that from the top of your head if you remember?
As such,
that prison situation, was it like a active situation? That's why Carmine had a lethal in prison. As far as I'm understanding, it's fine.
no, you have to inform DOC entering the prison and get permission to bring in lethal every single time. He did not advise DOC, nor did he ask DOC. I guess the proper phrasing, he neither asked nor informed DOC that he had a pistol on him. So
well,
that's okay.
I'm wondering like what type of situation it was that he rolled.
A safe code 4 situation. There was no reason for him to bring the gun into the prison. He was advised over radio numerous times that it was code 4. In these actions, Assistant Chief of Police should not proceed with his position.
Okay. I see from the statement. Yes.
In these actions, Assistant Chief Peters should not proceed with his position until such time as the authority conduct review has been performed in its entirety. As such, we're requesting a suspension of his duties either until either he is found guilty of his actions with rectification presented, or in his exoneration of the review, or in his exoneration, and as such should be allowed to proceed with his appointed duties. All right, that's done. As easy as it can be, to be honest. Because then what we'll do is we'll call all of this is presented in a way that we are to call witnesses. It's supposed to be a bigger deal. It brings RP to a bunch of people that's involved. It lasts a couple of hours, and then there's a review, and then the punishment is either done via delayed verdict or it's brought down. Like this creates an event. What are you doing this weekend? Question mark. Is that person's name Marshal Law? It is. That's funny. Uchella 2024 has survived the greatest Legion Square. Oh, that's cool. Still buying car parts. Oh, she's playing Sheila Michaels. I love that. Ma's too proudy. Jonathan Crane. Just kind kidnappers, thank you for the momentary abduction. I cast non-magic missile. I miss my ex-girlfriend. There we go. Anything else just interesting? Any cops available? Help give a deputy a 1 across. Support the cause for state account. The blurred out UNICEF logo is so funny. What is this? I am this old. Hey Siri, play Go the Distance by Michael Bolton.
Do you know if I can move
Oh god.
tabs on my MDT, or is it just hard stuck for tab?
You cannot. No. Hold on, give me a second.
What?
Nothing. What'd you say, Alex?
Oh, okay. I was just wondering if I can move the tabs on my tablet MDT, or is it hard stuck?
I think it holds still.
Oh.
Yeah, so just make whatever you want as your main thing on the left side to open everything else. Oh, okay.
Are you okay?
Yeah, I'm fine. Why?
It's like you just saw you like heard or thought of something very funny.
Oh yeah, no, I'm good. I'm good. I'm fine.
Oh.
Kind of want to go and just be annoying and jump in the middle of that, but I'm not caught. All right. 10:42 getting dressed as a girl. Kind of want to go see that now. We should probably wrap things up though. Okay, so that's good. That's good. ACR for Peters is ready for review. Report number 1414655. Perfect. All right, so that has been advised. I guess we should just put that as docket numbers. ACR for Nino Chavez. ACR for Tyler Peters. All right, so Nino Chavez is 14520. 4655. I love that this is on the top now. It makes me so happy. All right, we have too many things, but we're basically just waiting, waiting for this. Sparks? Question mark? Sparks. Create 14655. And then we need to pull that to, where's the master list? St. Marshal Keysboard. The audits. One house and Stepman. Lockhart Days, the other marshals. Okay. Okay, I'm gonna make a new thing. Authority. Conduct reviews. Impeachments. I'm making this even. Mayor's office cases. DOJ cases. PD cases. Okay. And then what we can do is just copy it over from Sparks list. Easy. Four two zero 187 240.
Hello.
Hi, it's me, Sparks.
Hello, Sparks. Sparks, I want to be audited.
Okay.
Everyone's told me that it's therapy, and I need it.
What? What do you mean it's therapy?
I've heard good things about this audit, and I would like to take part.
Oh, I love that. Yeah, it's just a general audit where we get your opinions, thoughts on the police department, your police work, and everything else. Like,
Yes,
legitimately.
please. I would
Yeah.
love to talk about that since I've been in this department since day one of it opening.
All right.
Please.
Yeah, feel free to come down. I can record it. I'll have one of the other marshals just sit in as a witness, and you can come in. So no worries.
Oh, that's lovely. Okay,
Yeah, I
I'll
got you.
be there eventually at some point tonight, probably.
Bruh. What do you
Oh,
mean?
I gotta have another.
eventually?
I gotta have another conversation first, and then
Alright.
I'll come through.
Yeah, no worries. I'll be here between the next 5 minutes and 70 minutes. I don't know how long I'm gonna be here.
5 to 70 minutes. Okay, that's
5 to 70.
okay. That works.
It's fine. It's
I'll
fine.
make that work.
Just keep me informed. Sergeant? Question mark. I could just look at your thing. Sergeant. Yeah, Sergeant Maple. Just let me know, Sergeant
Yes,
Maple. And
I
I'll
am
be
a
here for you.
sergeant.
Yeah, no worries.
I was recently promoted. Thank you.
Oh my God, you guys only have 3 people on duty.
Yes, exactly. That's why I'm calling you right now.
Oh, do you
We're
need?
definitely not all in the same car right now doing command stuff.
Oh, do you need the Marshal ride along? I can go get my ride along
You-
put on.
You want to come with us and
Yeah.
here?
Yeah,
Can she come with us, guys?
it's up to them. I'll just stay quiet. and
Mobile
patient.
audit? You want to come do a mobile audit with us?
If you don't care that the other 2 people are in the room, that's up to you.
I don't care. They fucking know everything about my thoughts. Like I said,
Alright.
I've been in this apartment since day one.
All right, I'm at the office.
I'm coming by. I'm here.
Okay, let me switch my gun out so someone doesn't rob me.
We can only take you unless Alex wants to jump in the trunk.
No. She has to get approval for ride-alongs. So she a rookie. So I'm gonna leave her in the office.
Okay.
All right, I'll be there in a second.
Okay.
Fine. I'm leaving you, but I'm a phone call away.
When did you get promoted? What the hell?
I'm not promoted. I'm also a rookie, but I have blanket permission to go with certain people.
I can't believe this.
Motherfucker, I'm about to impeach 2 mayors.
I'm about to become the man.
No, you're not. I appreciate you, Alex.
Whoa.
Just give me a call if you need anything, okay?
I was contemplating like
Other side.
replying
Oh, never mind,
to
that's on the side.
Tyler Peters in that
Thank you for
report.
skipping
Please
over.
refer to the chief of police and do not be passive aggressive in command reports.
You're gonna get fired. Holy fuck.
Yeah, you're gonna get fired, Frost.
Are you talking about the thing where Moss said it's kind of disgusting to have a master report on?
Oh, I'm sorry for being passive aggressive, Sparks.
you-
I'm sorry for being crazy.
I read that, you know, I know I'm only supposed to sit here and be quiet. How the fuck were you passive aggressive?
You tell me. I
Alright.
don't know. I thought I just wrote facts. Like I was being very, you know,
Factual.
objective, and I was just writing, you know, this, and this, and these dates and these reports. And these are the facts. There's no emotional, you know, subjective comments in there. But I guess facts are passive aggressive. It's alright. We got a concerning tag.
I did see that exclamation point space concerning space exclamation.
It's so
point.
good. I fucking love that, man. It's such a good thing.
I discovered a few days ago I have permission to make tags.
I'm dropping another master doc. Sorry, a master.
Master
a master
dossier.
index.
You're
No, it's an
gonna get
index. A
fucking
master
fired.
index.
Bitch,
So-
you can't get fired.
He's not gonna
just
get
that.
fired, Sky, because they need to fucking come into the shift to do it.
I'm
Issue is
gonna
I can't
stay
go to
quiet,
shift
let
2
them
anymore.
fucking- I'm just gonna stay quiet and let them fucking.
Yeah, that's
shoot
true.
the
They don't
tea.
even come to shift 3 to talk to me.
Like, they need to come here in order to do that shit, and they're not fucking going to.
What are the tags?
So, you know, I don't know. Sparks, how does this audit work? Do I just talk?
So I'll put on an audio recording. Basically, I'll ask some basic questions. You'll talk and answer them to the best of your abilities. I imagine Cross and Sky have told you already what basically the questions are concerning, and so yeah, you basically just talk. You answer the
No,
questions
I
the way you
didn't
They didn't really tell me
I
anything,
didn't-
yeah.
Oh.
I didn't get detail. I mean, if it's easier, we can literally just go sit somewhere while you do the audit.
Yeah, do you want to just go sit down like an MRPD? You know, just
We can
hang
go
out.
sit somewhere cozy. I don't mind.
somewhere pretty.
Oh, we can go to the
RPD.
rooftop where we did the interviews.
Somewhere I wouldn't fall from.
You
The
wouldn't
Vinewood
fall
sign
from-
has a good view of the city. Just sit on top of the
Just
Vinewood
somewhere
sign.
not ever pretty. I don't want to be in there.
Go with the Vinewood sign.
Alright, let me get this up and ready, man. Non-instant report. Ow.
I'm sorry.
Ow.
Are you okay?
Good.
Yeah, you.
Yeah. I tried so hard to avoid you that I even went off road and then you still hit me.
I'm sorry, officer.
Slow down. Don't go airborne.
Okay, I'll try.
And stay in your lane too. My goodness.
Ow.
You okay?
No, we got hit head on and my neck hurts. I got
Okay, so I have a
whiplash.
harness.
Yep, I put that on correctly. I know how to do that.
It's just shoulders.
I would offer you EMS, but all government employees minus one are currently in this car.
Yeah, I felt bad.
I mean,
leaving
I am
Alex.
certified. I'm
Oh yeah, I think we all
First
are.
aid. First aid certed. Because we have to be, because there's never fucking EMS around at this hour.
I
We
mean,
are
it's
the
supposed to be
EMS.
It's supposed to be mandatory for all everybody, but
would you say outside of Master Doc? Seriously, like what would you call it?
Oh, I've got multiple names. Master
He's
Thread, Master Index, Master File,
Yeah, I think
Master Dossier.
I think the
Conglomeration of
problem-
issues.
I think
Go
the
that one.
problem is that it's like a master report.
Let's go with this one.
Because the language that we're trying to move away from in like real estate is not a master suite, it's an owner suite for reasons that we shouldn't talk about from the
Well, I
19th
think they
century.
just have an issue of like showing problems.
Wait,
all
are
in
we
one
going
spot.
up? Should we go up?
Yeah, we can.
We can go up.
Go up.
Which platform's the
Is
biggest?
there enough room?
I'm
for
about to
us
find out. Hold on.
I mean,
I kinda-
absolute worst case, I die. So, and then I wouldn't have to worry about audits or paperwork
so
anymore.
It's a bit tight up here.
That's what she said.
Oh.
There's a camera up here.
It's a bit cozy.
Whose camera is that?
I don't know. You guys on that? You guys go up the other side?
Yeah, it says 2 on each. This could be bad if any one of us fall down.
Excuse me. Excuse me. Excuse me.
Oh, Sky's coming. You can come up here, Frog. You can come on this side. Sky's on this side.
Yeah,
oh
it's
my!
fine.
Oh.
I'm being nosy.
Okay.
All right.
I am ready for my audit. I've been waiting for this day.
All right. Give me just a second.
Frost is
here.
over there contemplating how to not be passive aggressive.
All right. The location is the Inn in Vinewood sign. All right. Just finishing up my little template here. All right. Whenever you're ready, Sergeant Maple.
I'm ready.
All right, it is the 31st of October. Happy Spoopy Ween around 3 a.m. PST on this audio recording for the audit for Sean Maple, Sergeant Sean Maple. My name is Skyler Sparks. I am a marshal with the San Andreas State Marshals badge 030. On the sign is Captain Sky Fay, Sergeant Sean Maple, and over in the corner is Jimmy Frost, just being Jimmy for some reason. All right, so let's go ahead and get started then. Basic question. What is your name, rank, department, and badge number?
Sergeant Sean Maple, badge number 297, LSPD.
And how long have you been employed in your department?
Since the very beginning. So, was December 15th of last year?
Okay.
I've been here since day one.
Has there been any lapse in your employment?
No, I've been here since day one. Through and through.
Perfect. And have you received any disciplinary actions by the department?
I have been dapped once. I believe it was in December, and it was for failing to serve a warrant that I didn't know existed because our MDT didn't show us when people had warrants, unless we checked the dashboard. I think that's my only dap.
What was the resolution to that disciplinary action?
What do you mean?
Like,
I
you,
got-
you received a DAP point? Were you suspended, fired? Were you required to carry a fish around with you? Oh, okay.
No, I got a dap and I said, okay, it won't happen again, and it didn't happen again because I fucked up that one time and didn't fuck up again, as is what daps should be used for.
Okay. Since your time in the LSPD, have you given any disciplinary actions?
I have assisted with them when I was a senior, but I don't think I have yet as a sergeant officially given any proper daps. I've just assisted with like decisions on if they should be applied by command at the time or not.
How long have you been a sergeant?
It's been like a week now, right? I think. Hold on. I can tell you
I
exactly
don't
the date.
remember when I promoted.
I think it's been a week. Hold on, I'll tell you because I texted my wife when I got promoted.
A hot minute, I feel. It's like a couple weeks, maybe even a month. I don't know.
Ain't no way it's been a month.
2 weeks, 2.5 weeks. I don't know.
It was before the vote, wasn't it?
Yeah. I don't remember.
19 days ago. So I texted my wife, I'm a sergeant, smiley face.
Okay. And how long were you a senior before that? I don't need exact dates or anything, just to your best of recollection.
Since like, I want to say July?
Have you had
think-
previous command experience prior to being raised to a senior?
Nope.
Okay. I will transition to a different set of questions. This is...
Yo.
Hey, is this super important? Like 10 out of 10? 9 out of 10?
Yeah, just a quick question. So DOC reports, does Carmine have access to it to file
Nope.
like a statement?
Nope.
He doesn't?
Nope.
Oh, okay. That's it. Okay, I'll leave you to it.
It was not 10 out of 10. What is your opinion of the state of the PD as a whole?
Well, it's been rough for a while now. I think about 9 months ago, roughly, I kind of got into this. Well, maybe 7 months ago. It kind of came to a point where it was a matter of just kind of trying to wait out, the sort of mayor issues and everything, and then kind of kept getting worse and worse to the point where I decided to move to shift 3 to kind of reset my scenery, get a reset, and kind of get back to my roots of just being able to do my job and not worry about all the headaches around it. I think it's bad right now specifically. I think it's probably the worst it's been since I've been part of this department. I think there's so much indecisiveness. I think that there's a lack of discipline, and a lot of people can just do what they want, get away with what they want. There has always seemed to be this incapability of understanding that you're able to do your jobs properly while still enjoying it and having fun and not having to violate rights. And I think people don't want to give out punishment. I think people see DAPs as the end all be all, when in reality that they were created and meant to be used as a way to kind of guide and have people correct the issues and learn from their mistakes.
At this time at 3:03 a.m. PST, we'll be pausing the audio recording.
Bean, you're climbing the wrong ladder. He's on the other side. What do you want?
We're in the middle of an audit.
We're in the middle of an audit.
You guys are doing an audit?
Yes. What do you want, Bean?
Oh. Sake.
Hello, Sergeant. Bye, Sergeant.
Hey, Frost, you're fucking things up for the LSPD, huh? Quit adding concerning to fucking command tags. Prick. Quit fucking shit up.
He didn't do it. He's not the one who made it.
You didn't make a command? Okay, well, the concerning thing Hey, you're bringing up too many issues. Quit it with the master dogs. We're looking to brush this shit under the fucking rug,
I'm
Frost.
sorry they're
Quit
gross
bringing
and
up
crazy.
issues. Quit doing your fucking job, prick. Look after your own shift.
I will stop trying to hold a standard.
I think that's fitting to what I was talking
That's
about,
a
wasn't it?
Let's go, Frost.
Just waiting. Alrighty. Oh man. All right, so we will return to the recording at 3:05 a.m. PST. The last thing that I have written down for you, Sergeant Maple, is I think that DAPs. I think people think that DAPs are the end-all, be-all, when in reality they were created as a way to guide, and I don't have anything beyond that.
I don't think I said anything after that.
Okay, please continue.
I'm not sure there's much else, honestly. I mean, when I first joined the department, it was very clearly set that there was a high standard of expectation laid out to us that, we were being put in these positions to do our jobs properly, effectively, and seriously. And I feel like since then it has gone by the wayside. There is, standards have crumbled, and part of that is why I came to Shift 3 when I did back in June or April-ish, around then, was because I knew that standards are upheld here, and there is still that ability to have standards, do our jobs properly, and enjoy coming on duty and doing our jobs on duty and doing our jobs properly, which was something that was, at that point in time, falling apart elsewhere in the other shifts. I think that's all I have to say on that.
What shift were you before?
Shift 2. When I was Shift 2, I was on duty from the beginning of Shift 2 until typically a little bit into Shift 3, a couple hours into Shift 3.
You said there were glaring issues with Shift 2. What were the issues that you noticed that really pushed you into Shift 3?
An inability to commit to punishment, and to commit to a standard of policing. There were aspects of it, just kind of honestly, sometimes the criminals that we had to deal with were another aspect of me wanting to go to Shift 3, because I was no longer enjoying coming on duty, being around, and having to deal with certain aspects of Shift 2, which are a given and are out of the PD's control to an extent. But in terms of things that were in the PD's control, I feel like standards had began waning, and a lot of people were just kind of able to get away with whatever they wanted to, and punishments were few and far between.
Were you a senior at all prior to your adjustment to Shift 3?
No.
Do you know why?
Last conversation that I had with it was McNulty before I transferred to Shift 3 was the reasoning that I was not looked at for senior in the time when they were promoting to senior was because I fell off the face of the earth, were the exact words that were used at the time. When I was on duty every single day, Monday to Friday.
Did you ever question them why you felt that was incorrect?
I was not in the most perfect headspace at the time, and I thought that it would be better for me to just have a change of scenery instead of try and push any further and put any more effort into somewhere that I didn't feel like I was needed or appreciated. And even before I officially became Shift 3, I felt like being in Shift 3, I was welcomed, and I was my effort and my work was appreciated, and I felt like I belonged more. And in Shift 2, I didn't feel like I fit in any longer. I felt I at the time I think I referred to it a lot to myself as imposter syndrome, I guess, where like, you know, I was there, I kind of belonged to be there, but I didn't feel like I was supposed to be there anymore.
What was contributing to the factor that you felt like you shouldn't be there?
The dip in standards, I think, had an aspect because I feel like I hold very high expectations and very high standards, and an expectation for punishment and consequences for people when there are mistakes. And I feel like that aspect that I hold is much more strict than Shift 2 and maybe even Shift 1 is holds themselves to. But I very much believe in consequences, and I feel like there weren't any for people who should have been getting them, and there was a lot of people just getting walked over. And I felt like my style of policing, I suppose, wasn't suiting the needs of the shift at the time.
Do you have any specific examples that are very glaring, something you remember from that time that really pushed you in that in the direction of feeling this way?
Honestly, it's been so long that I kind of just axed a lot of it from memory at this time. Once I came to Shift 3, I kind of just left everything behind and gave myself a full-on reset, to just kind of give my all here in every way I could, and make sure that I wasn't kind of getting any residue from my previous experiences. Using it as an opportunity to reset, do the job that I know how to do and I have known how to do properly, and enjoy doing it again, which I was losing. I was no longer enjoying getting on duty. I was actually dreading it whenever I would wake up. I didn't want to get on duty. I didn't want to come around. I didn't want to deal with the shift. I didn't want to deal with the people, the criminals. Just anything about it was a chore.
At this time, we'll be pausing the recording at 3:13 a.m. PST. Yes, ma'am.
Hello. Are you doing audit with like their high command present with them?
Yes, ma'am.
Why?
Because we were just in a ride-along thing, and Sky wanted to sit here, and Sean wanted her here. I can kick her out.
You need to probably restart the audit.
Okay, I can do that.
Yeah, because it's one-on-one. If we're not
I'm
allowing
being
for anyone, then they
kicked
should also be
Well,
held
then
to the
boop.
same standard.
Okay, I will bring Maple to the Marshal's office then. I was unaware of that.
All right. All right. No worries. Thank
Understood.
you.
Badge.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you so much.
No.
We have to stop, and we're restarting the audit. We'll need to restart at the Marshal's office.
Okay.
Sorry, guys.
What the heck?
That's fine. We were disrupted by
Where'd Frost go?
Bean anyway. Oh yeah, totally fair.
Do you want TRT lead? Is that what you want, or would you take it from Radish? Yeah.
Yeah, the show not bias. Yeah, totally understood that.
Yeah, I mean, like, I don't want to, like, change what's broken, right? I'm kind of like... It's like, why change? Like, why... There's, like, no need to change for the sake of change. Like, it's worked for... Like, we haven't been CIB'd, right? And it's worked.
That's crazy.
Yeah, I think... Like, or I guess framing it as...
Yeah, they're probably going to
if
be
the
a lot
unit
of this.
fucks up, it's just
Knowing
like
the
your head's
characters
on
from
the
now, the
chopping
character
block, right?
level,
We can be
there's not much
impeached
that's
for
going
that,
to
that's
change
about it.
between
But
the
in terms of-
discussion.
It's like high command oversight, I guess, but day to day it's still the exact same structure, no changes. I'm down for that.
But we need to have
Yeah. And then, like, operationally, you'll
we
still
need to
be,
have
lead or whatever, right? Not a...
we need to have as much
Just
of a
like-
neutral tone as possible with it.
He just needs to get fucking squad leads, then they can kind of take the load off him. He just needs to pick them. Yeah.
All right, I'll have to dump you guys here and we'll go.
Oh, Sean's driving.
Yeah.
My tea.
I'm sorry.
I'll return him soon.
It's okay. I'm gonna be honest, Sky. I mean, everything I'm gonna say is shit you probably already know anyway.
Yeah.
We might have to do it another day just because there's a perception of impropriety with that happening at the same time. So I will talk to Anna and see what her opinion is on the situation.
Okay. I mean, like I said, right then, like, I held nothing back, and I mean, you can ask about some questions and all
I
that
don't
stuff,
think
so.
I don't think anything will differ, but we need to make sure that there, isn't anything that's specifically noted there. So.
You open this?
I can. The important thing is that it's as neutral as possible, so I understand the
get that.
situation.
I understand too.
Alright, just head over to the left. And
Okay.
we'll be there in a second. Let me get this unlocked here.
Yeah. So if she she tells me that she's a treasurer and she approves the transactions, it's the embezzlement case kind of goes out of the window.
There.
Oh, ma'am. Is anyone joining me for this, or do you want me to conduct it myself?
I will join in mid-session. Why not?
Do you want me to?
Yeah.
I was just gonna start over. But
Yeah, you need to, because the whole point is one-on-one, and we don't need them to be actually
Understood.
influenced even by their presence.
Okay.
Any reason why you included Frost and Skynet?
We were in the same car. He wanted to do it. He wanted a therapy session, and they were just kind of off to the side, not doing anything. Frost wasn't within earshot.
Yeah, it's just like you can't really ask. As much as I love my daughter, like this, you can't really ask someone, would you want this, would you want to replace your high command if the high command is right next to you in an audit? You know.
Understood. That's my sincerest apologies. That's on me.
No, it's okay.
It's fine. You can take Alex with you, because I have to discuss a case with Dark too. So I don't think I'll be joining.
Oh my
this
god,
one.
I'm so sorry, Richard. I was trying to open MDT and fuck.
It's okay. It's fine.
Oh,
What are you
wow,
uncuffing
okay.
me for? I
All
don't
right,
need to be
okay.
uncuffed.
Okay,
I'm
Richard.
strong.
Alex,
bitch.
can you go
Okay.
accompany Skylar?
Okay.
Damn, you're quick with it, Richard. Okay.
What's happening? Audit?
Yeah, you're just we're gonna go through the audit, and then I'll ask if you have any questions after that. Okay.
Hello. It's tight in here. It's cozy.
Yeah, it
Yep.
is. It's nice and
No
warm.
escape.
The door's still open.
Yeah, don't worry about it.
Just stand in the door.
Just step in a little bit more. There you go. Now go stand and block the door if you want.
All right, let me get that set up then. All right, so we are starting this audit. It is the 31st of October, 2024, around 3:20 a.m. PST. In the room is Marshal Skyler Sparks, badge 030, accompanied by Marshal Alex Knight and Sergeant Sean Maple. Sean, I'll just ask you some basic questions. I'm sure you're familiar with some of the questions. Just answer them to the best of your ability as long as you wish. Okay?
Yep.
What is your name, rank, department, and badge number?
Sergeant Sean Maple, badge number 297, LSPD.
And how long have you been employed in your department?
As long as I have been able to, so just I think it was December 15th where we all got rehired when the state reopened.
And during that time, has there been any lapse of employment?
I have always been employed. I have worked straight through.
Okay. And has there been any disciplinary actions by the department towards you?
I believe I got one DAP sometime. It was either December or January. I think it was December, for a failure to execute a warrant. That at the time our MDTs didn't really show us if people had warrants. If we were processing them, we had to double check on the dashboard if they had a warrant at the time, which is no longer the case.
And have you been given any disciplinary actions by... have you given any disciplinary actions by your department?
I have not officially given any since I've been promoted to sergeant. As a senior, I assisted with deciding if there should be DAPs given to people, but I personally have not handed out any DAPs yet.
I have some branching questions off of that. Has there ever been a time that you have recommended DAPs that... has there ever been a time that you've recommended a disciplinary action that never pulled through on that person?
I don't believe so. Not that I can think of.
Okay, perfect. And you say you were a senior. How long ago were you a senior, and how long have you been a sergeant?
I've been a sergeant for, I think it was 19 days. I was a senior since, I think, June or July. I was promoted to senior.
Okay. This one's going to be a pretty heavy one. What is your opinion of the state of the PD as a whole?
I think it is in a pretty bad spot right now. Based off of the experiences I've had from December till now, it came to a point about, I want to say, 7 or so months ago where I kind of just got this mindset of just got to wait it out and it's going to start getting better. And I've had that mindset ever since, and I still have that mindset now of just wait it out. It's going to get better. There's a reason that I have strictly reserved myself to only operating within shift 3 now. And that is because I know that we operate with high standards. We are able to do our jobs properly and have fun while doing our jobs properly. We have expectations that we hold our shift to, and I think, especially over the course of the last 3 months, it's been turmoil, unnecessary drama, unnecessary headaches, a waning in. I mean, there's an entire exodus in Shift 2 a couple months ago to leaving from the LSPD into the BCSO because of disapproval. I also don't blame any of them for doing that, and I think there is a lot of inconsistency and a inability to hold people accountable or to stick to consequences or to commit to decisions. And I think that's mainly it. I just
What do you mean by
it's
not sticking to consequences? Could you elaborate on that?
there's many times where we'll have incidents crop up where decisions are made for punishment, and or we in shift 3 advise punishment to others, and they put up a report, we'll advise punishment, we'll suggest what should be done, and it's not our shift, so we just give our suggestion. It's their shift to deal with, but there's just no consistency with the punishments that are followed through with.
Is there a pattern with specific individuals that you think don't get the same treatment? Like, are the same 3 individuals not getting punishment, or is it just so inconsistent it's hard to develop?
Well, are we talking about right now or
From
in
your
the past?
experience, it could be both.
There's definitely been people who have gotten away with a lot more than they should have. There's people that are currently employed that should not be, in my professional opinion. There's a lot of them as well. There is people who I feel all they do is cause headaches for this department. They cause problems that we need to then deal with. They cause repercussions that falls on the shoulders of people who it's not their fault. And it's problematic and unnecessary headaches for everyone.
From your observations, who are those people?
Den is a very clear one. I mean, he was fired before and then rehired. I don't know how he has a job. Personally. Carmine is something else. I know that there are reports of him shooting an unarmed individual that are just. I read through it and it just looks like a mess. I don't know the details surrounding it. It's not my shift to deal with, but I mean, he is a problem in and of itself. And look what happened with the prison. Bobby Charles is a whole nother issue. When I was shift 2 and I was shift 2 P&T, I specifically held a standpoint that, and I told Bobby straight up that I would never hire him as long as I had the say so in that decision, because I do not believe that he has the I almost want to say sanity, because Bobby has the ability to do his job when he needs to, but he also has this inability of understanding basic things and is very chaotic and very problematic and very troublesome, and he is very antagonistic. I think same with Carmine. They're both very antagonistic individuals, and they feed off of each other, I think. I don't know why Cornwood still holds a captain position. I haven't seen him on duty in months. I think there's probably many other people who could hold that position much more efficiently in the BCSO. I don't believe that Peters deserves to be in the position that he is in currently. And same goes for Moss. I think there are much more capable and valued individuals in this department that have been here not only longer, but have shown their dedication to this department that deserve to be in those positions and running the LSPD in the view that it was initially held to. I'm trying to think of more off of the top of my head. Those are the first sort of groups, I guess, that kind of come to mind right away. I'm not sure there's many other that. If I look through my roster, maybe I could list off a few more, but those are the big ones I think that come to mind.
Going off that last statement you said about Peters and Moss, do you believe that chief of police or the assistant chief of police position should be based on tenure?
No, I don't think it should necessarily be based off of tenure. I think it should be a position that people in the department want to be held by a certain person. I think there needs to be experience. I think there needs to be a capability to lead, both in the field and with morale. And there needs to be a capability of holding the trust of the people in that department. I know Moss was actually hired when I was back in December, and then she left and returned as a recruit and was handed the chief of police position. Peters I believe Peters was part of a group of cadets that at the time referred to as the Bad Batch, where individuals such as Crocodile Steve, actually Loki was part of the Bad Batch. Coyote was part of the Bad Batch. What's his fucking name? The name of the one with the mobile scooter. What was his name? I don't remember his name. I've seen him like 3 times ever since he got hired. Conan Clarkson, that one. He was part of the Bad Batch. And I'm pretty sure Peters was part of the Bad Batch as well. I don't recall exactly, but I think he was hired around that same time. If I recall correctly, he was also BCSO when he was given the position of assistant chief, and I feel like it's a position that should be given to somebody who is dedicated to the department, who wants nothing but the best of the department, and wants to promote a good workplace and a good place to want to come on duty and have the respect. And respect is something that is earned, and I don't think that they have done that. When Moss was announced as chief, I wanted to give her the benefit of the doubt, let her do the best that she can, and not just kind of discount her because she didn't have the tenure, because she hasn't been around. But I don't think she has the backbone necessary, and I don't think that Peters is deserving of the position to be there with her. I think Moss could have had a good potential, and I think she fumbled it. I think she lost a lot of the trust within the LSPD with her decisions. I think she caused a lot of headaches. I think a lot of people spoke up about their distaste with her decision for Peters, and she disregarded the opinions of those below her and just did what she wanted to, or whatever she may have been being told to do. Which wouldn't surprise me the slightest if that is exactly the case, that she is just doing what she is told.
Okay, and you mentioned, qualities, etc. Who do you believe best matches these qualities? Like, if you had to throw out like a list of names of like what you want to see in a chief, assistant chief, or just any
I
form
don't
of
like that she
leadership
interrupted
position.
me because I had a question to go off of this, and hopefully I remember
I
that.
think Sky, I think Viv, would both be great choices for chief and as chief. I think Ruby was kind of shafted with her opportunity in Ass Chief because I don't think she had the ability to do a lot of what she wanted to. I think Ruby is capable.
I'm
I
glad
think
she's like
Ruby
stepping up to do
could be
something
a
about it,
good
though. I just don't like being interrupted in general.
helping hand as well. Those would be my personal picks for that position. But primarily for chief and ass chief, it would be something. It would be between Viv and Sky. Either one, I think, would be good in those positions, and would be what we need in the department.
So going back to what you said in the previous thing about Moss being controlled, who do you think is telling her what to do?
Nina,
Why do you believe that?
because he's the one who placed her in the position. I had a conversation with Viv just before the election results came out, because I had a conversation with Jason Ledson, who was running for mayor, and the conversation we had together was that if he was elected mayor, he was going to look to put me in the position of chief. And I was willing to take that because I wanted to give a aspect of stability to the department so that we could put the necessary people in position of power and then let them take it, pass the reins off to them, get some sort of implementation similar to what the BCSO has, where the department needs to put forward names for the position to get that position, instead of just being a random name picked out of a hat, or being put in a position because of nepotism for whatever reason. So I spoke to Viv, and she told me how she was all but actually promoted to the position when the decision was changed and Moss was thrown into it. And I think Viv was personally robbed. And it's it was a missed opportunity for a genuinely good era within the LSPD that was, I think, thrown by the wayside and has crumbled the department, because that decision, it crumbled the LSPD there because of what happened with the chief of police and with the assistant chief decision. Shift 2 was decimated by the LSPD, and Shift 2 was absolutely slaughtered to the point where there was only PPOs on duty in the LSPD and Shift 2. Everybody else was BCSO. And there's a lot of good officers that left, and I don't blame them the slightest for it. Because it was just not fair. And there was people fired as well that just shouldn't have been. They were fired because they spoke their mind, and I think that is a horrible, horrible standard to set. To have a expectation that everyone will just fall in line and have no problem with anything that's done, is a very faulty mindset to have as a leader, especially one for a police department such as this. I think one of the most important aspects of that position should be somebody who is willing to listen to those below them, listen to the people who are around every day, who are experiencing it every day, and take those opinions and build a department that people want to be around on duty for. People want to be around for. People want to get on duty. People want to come to work, want to be with other people that are on duty, and not build a department that despises you and that dislikes your ideas. And I think that was a very poor outcome that happened.
Do you know who was fired for speaking their mind?
I believe it was Bell, Calista Bell, who's been rehired by the BCSO.
Do you know what she said to get fired or how she said it?
I don't know any of the details surrounding it.
Gotcha. Are you afraid to speak your mind to your high command for fear of being fired?
Not in shift 3. No, with Sky in shift 3, I have no issue voicing concerns, going to her about any problems, any issues that I see that are happening. And the same went when I was a senior, going to Frost or Alice at the time before she transferred, and Lucas too. I never had any issue. I've always felt very comfortable with them because I feel like I am appreciated and my opinion is valued, as is much of the shift. Is we listen to the shift and try and give them the best possible environment to work in that they can, and I don't have any fear of going to Sky with concerns when I have them. With that said, I don't think I would ever be willing to approach Moss or Peters about it because that is a concern that I would have, is that they would fire me if I went to them and spoke my mind to them about it directly.
And that includes professional, if you approach them professionally, be like, hello, you're my command. I have some concerns. I just wanted to bring this up to you, blah, blah, blah. And you still feel as though you'd be fired if you brought it up professionally?
I feel like I would if it was concerns directly related to them. If it was directly related to how they handle situations or to how they approach situations, yeah, I do feel like, regardless of how I approach them, if it is directly about them, I feel like they would maybe take that as an attack against them and that they would fire me. A lot of that is actually the reason why, for many months, I just kind of, when I was still in shift 2, just kind of held my breath and held my tongue and just kind of buckled in and did the job to the best of my ability because um, when Max was mayor, I felt like he could pull any strings he wanted and get anybody axed if he wanted to, if someone crossed him wrong. And I have that same feeling with current, not only high command aside from Sky, but with Nino as well. I feel like he could just, if that's what he wants, that's what will be done.
Are you aware by legislation that the mayor does not control the police department and only has the position to appoint a chief of police?
Yeah, I am aware that that is what it says. But I am also aware that with that same fact, if the chief of police doesn't do what the mayor wants, then the chief of police can get replaced.
Do you believe that Nino would replace Moss if she didn't fall in line?
Yep, absolutely, without a doubt.
Okay. Let's branch off to a couple different questions then. What are some, in your time in LSPD, what are some achievements? What are some clear achievements that have been created by your department?
What do you mean achievements?
Like
I
like
think she means more like big bust or big raid or something like it led to like a slew of arrests.
or
Correct me
good
if I'm wrong.
training or an officer that really improved because of help, like anything that you could qualify as something good that was done by your department.
Just by the department as a whole?
Yeah, the LSPD.
Well, there was a huge Hydra raid recently, but I think there's like a lot of shit surrounding that. I don't really know the details about it. I've admittedly taken up this mantra since moving to shift 3 of if it's not in my shift, it's not something that I should bother dealing with right now or worry myself about because it's not going to matter me worrying about what's going on elsewhere. I just try and focus on my shift and the people that I need to deal with and work with and give them the best of my ability.
Have there been any achievements in your shift that are very notable?
I mean, Frost is actually the one who came up with the academy run sheet that we run through all the academies with. And it goes across every shift. I think that's that and the quiz that we give to recruits that they need to pass. I think has set a very good standard for the cadets. And a clear sort of path for academies to run smoothly and not super bumpy and rocky like they once were. So that's really really helpful. Um,
Okay. What have been some
I mean,
yeah, go ahead.
I feel like as shift 3, we have just held a good standard. A lot of the times when things have changed in other shifts, because for whatever reason they wanted to change it, they have left our shift alone because we are not fucking around. We're not making glaring mistakes that needs attention, that needs changes. And I think that actually has to go with Sky being in her position, being able to sort of help let us do our jobs the way she knows that we're able to do our jobs.
Okay. What have been some failures of the department?
Hello.
Just
I
make sure you're
think that
whispering.
I think that whole stretch of time where fucking the BCSO was given the boot
Hello?
from Los Santos
Hello?
was ridiculous.
Hey. I see chat
That's
Um,
you, Martin?
yeah.
Okay.
and was just an unnecessary headache given to the shifts, which again here in shift 3 we
Hello.
didn't have to deal with because we operate as a shift together.
Morning,
Doesn't
how
matter
are
what
you?
uniform you're wearing, we're a team, we're a group, we work together.
Hi, well.
Um,
A lot of other things.
and I think that was a huge fumble
Mm-hmm.
and a huge error. That was gladly rectified recently, but it took longer than it should have to rectify.
Okay.
Uh,
And
Sorry, what you said.
what do you think has been the biggest failure as a whole across any department? Just as a whole, policing in general. Like,
I don't know why our SOPs haven't been updated. It's our SOPs need to be updated. They haven't been. I don't know when the last time our SOPs were updated, but they need to get up. We need to get on that. Just a that's just a simple thing that needs to get done. Um, trying to think of other situations, but honestly, there's nothing that super comes to mind. Like I said, I've mainly just tried to focus on our shift and remaining my focus on the shift, so I haven't looked too thoroughly into many of the issues for other shifts, and a lot of the time, in all seriousness, a lot of the really good things or really bad things that happen are not things that happen in shift 3. We tend to live on our own little island, living life to the best of our abilities with the resources we have at our disposal, trying to just do the jobs that we have been tasked with doing.
Okay. In your opinion, what could be improved in your department?
Hmm. Consistency with standards across the board. Um, in terms of punishment, in terms of standard of police work, in terms of expectation of what consistency with that mainly that I think there just needs to be higher standards and people need to be held accountable for when they fuck up, and people need to be punished for their fuck ups, and if they don't learn then they need to be gotten rid of. um, I think that is the biggest, most glaring issue that I have currently with, I want to say, with the entirety of the PD, not just the LSPD. But referring to specifically the LSPD, it is something that I think needs to be resolved. I think people need to be punished. I think standards need to be set. I think expectations need to be outlined, and they need to be held accountable.
Okay, biggest. All right, just bear with me. As a punishment, standards, expectations. If you could change one thing right now, what would it be?
For the department,
Mm-hmm.
high command. That's where it starts. If you put in a competent and capable high command to set those standards and hold those standards and hold those expectations, then everything else falls into place. And it's a tricky task of setting those standards and keeping an enjoyable workplace, but Shift 3 has accomplished that because there is the ability to flip a switch, is what we like to refer to it as, where we can be on radio, we can have fun with each other, we can enjoy each other's company, we can talk, and even with the criminals that we deal with on a daily basis, we can communicate with them, and we have relationships in the sense of like friendships. I don't want to say friendships. We have relationships in sort of a mutual understanding of they're gonna do what they're gonna do, and we're gonna do our jobs to try and stop them. And there isn't this inherent hatred towards our existence because we know how to do our jobs properly when it comes to stopping them. We don't go out of our way to.
Hello, can someone move this police car from outside in the parking spot?
Is that mine?
Yep. At this
I
time,
don't
the
know.
recording will
Is
be
it
paused
yours,
at
sir?
3:53 a.m. PST.
Is it 297, Richard?
Alex, can you
I
let
didn't look at the
him
number.
out?
Just really quick, and then you can come back.
Yeah,
in.
I got
Just
you,
move
I
it to
got you.
another spot. It's just in
I
the
got you, I
it's
got
just
you.
in the van.
Can
Like,
you
This
let-
is fairly different than when he
Yeah, I got ya.
interviewed beforehand.
I'll let you out. Don't worry.
So I'm glad we ended up pulling it that direction. It's very good. Although he's glazing, his glazing sky more. Yeah, yeah, he is.
I'll save you.
There's been a lot of sky glazing though.
Wildflower's a good egg.
Speaking of
Wildflower is
which,
a good egg.
Miss Star, welcome in. Bear with me just a second, guys. Welcome in. I appreciate you. Hope your
Alright.
stream was super duper
Do
great.
you have a minute to run to the washroom real quick?
Yeah, you're perfectly fine. Hi everyone. For those who
I'll do the same.
don't know, I play Skyler Sparks. I used to play Samantha Sanders and Zoe Zaleski / Zoe May. She's the Shift 3 chief. Oh, if only they knew, if only you guys knew, like, the millions of reports that we have literally asking for Sky to be chief. Well, thank you so much for the raid. Hope it was great. I am so very glad that we have the opportunity to actually roleplay now, because we've never really had to. Was told to say heck OSHA on guard. Yeah, you know what? Heck OSHA. Heck OSHA on God. Well, welcome in. I hope you guys had fun. I really wanted to do the thing, but I understand, like, in character-wise, we couldn't do the thing up there, so. Well, welcome in. Thank you for trusting me with your community and all the follows, guys, so much. Every person says Viv Sky Chief. We'll do what we can. I mean, obviously, it'll need to make sense in whatever, like, roleplay aspect needs to be there. So, hopefully. We're kind of just big chilling. He said he's going to the washroom. He said he was going to the washroom, but he's just standing right there doing nothing. Oh, she sucks. It's okay, Tiff. No one can ban you. There's a perfectly nice bathroom down the hall, Maple. There really is. There really is. I miss Zoe. I miss Zoe too. She never got accepted into PD.
Can't believe you just fucking called me out like that. That's fucking crazy.
What do you mean?
I
Oh,
heard you.
but saying you're in the washer? Yeah, you can't use the shower though. It's women's only.
Fair.
All right. You ready to continue the recording?
Yep.
All right. So we are continuing the audio recording at 3:56 a.m. PST. Last thing that you said was concerning what you would change in the LSPD if you could. It says right here, the last sentence I have is there is the ability to flip a switch and shift 3 and be on radio, enjoy each other's company and talk. And even with the criminals we deal with on a daily basis, we have relationships in a mutual understanding that they're going to do what they're going to do, and we got to stop them. There's no inherent hatred of our own existence. Is there anything else you'd like to add to that statement?
That switch that we are able to flip, we know when we need to lock in, when we're dealing with a big situation. Honestly, when we're dealing with any situation, we have that ability to lock in. It doesn't matter if it's something as small as a fist fight between two people arguing, or like a ammunition crate with 3 different gangs fighting over it. We know there's a time to fuck around and there's a time to lock in. And we sort of make sure that everyone we end up hiring into Shift 3 understands that. It's part of what we talk about when we're in academy, when we're interviewing our cadets or recruits and whatnot, is we let them know, like, there can be downtime, be time to have fun, but when it's time to go, it's time to lock in, it's time to do your fucking job, and it's time to do your job right. And that's something that we have a very high standard of holding. And I think it's something that can happen amongst all the shifts, but it starts from the top. It starts with a mindset change. There needs to not be this expectation that a punishment is the end of the world, or that you're not allowed to have fun. You can find that balance, and it's not an easy balance to find, but it is a mentality that needs to be understood, that you don't need to be fucking around all the time. There's a time and place for it. Sometimes it's time, if you're dealing with somebody like the clowns, you're gonna have a different approach to somebody like the clowns than you are gonna have with BBMC, and you need to understand that difference and that ability to switch scenarios and that ability to enjoy yourself in both of them. When you go from dealing with something silly and goofy and stupid to something with that's serious and life-threatening, and lives are in danger, and the ability to have fun with doing that while doing it properly. And that is the most important thing, is being able to do your job properly and have fun while you do it properly. You don't need to violate rights to enjoy your job. You don't need to shoot somebody. You don't need to pit somebody into a wall at 120 miles an hour. You can have fun and do the job properly. Those are not things that have to be separate. And that's what a lot of people, I feel, don't understand.
For the nature of the recording, entering the audio recording. Where's my audio recording? Oh, the little red dot on my phone. Just the nature of the audio recording is Marshall Anna Lockhart.
Hello.
Hello.
All right. And so going on that, what is your opinion of the current training within the department?
I think the training standards are pretty good right now. It took us a little while to get there, I think, and I think Frost put in a lot of work with the quiz that he made, as well as the run sheet that we use for academies. We're able to go through academies smoothly. It's actually enjoyable and not droning on headache to go through an academy and teach an academy because we have an outline. We know each step that's coming. We know what's next. We know what we need to do. And I think our academies are probably in the best place that I think they've probably ever been. The biggest issue that I always hear is when it comes to cadets getting picked up by FTOs. It's not really too much of an issue right now in Shift 3. We have more FTOs than we have cadets. Well, when both parties are able to wake up, that's the case at least. The other big thing is I think it's something that's happened now, but the sort of mutual agreement with Shift 3 just working as one shift and not as separate departments. So we all work together in one academy. We all work together with the cadets. We do joint everything, joint P&T in every way, shape, and form, because everybody's gonna have to work together, regardless of the department you're in. We're all gonna have to work together. We're all gonna have to cooperate, and I think that lessens our load in Shift 3, being able to cooperate so closely with each other and work to a common goal.
Now, when you said that you believe the standards are pretty high right now, is that exclusively for shift 3 or does that mean all shifts?
That's exclusively for academy. Once like they're actually trained. I think that there are some people who have been getting hired recently that are questionable. But at the same time, they're not hired in my shift. I don't really have a say in that. It's not my position to make that decision. If they want to hire these people, it's their call to hire these people. But they're not people that I would probably hire. Nor would I think the rest of my shift if you asked them.
Just with the
today.
nature of the recording now entering Marshal Alfred Clay. And what do you mean by people that you wouldn't hire? Are there any examples or glaring examples?
I'm surprised that Santino Forte has been rehired. At the end of the day, everybody deserves, I guess, their second chance, but I mean that was a questionable decision, to say the least. Same goes for Alana Reviews. We had many incidents with her, with fights between her and officers before she was an officer. I still question how Bobby and Carmine even got hired to begin with, but alas, they are. Those are the few that come to mind immediately off the top of my head. I'm not entirely too familiar with everyone who has been hired recently, but I do believe that the standard of training that these people are getting is at a high standard with the run sheets and the. I think there's a high expectation of quality of training through academies and through cadet sessions.
Are these glaring issues with these hires or just some concerns that you bring up? Like scale 1 to 10. How would you rate these?
I mean, they're people that if I had to choose between them and another name, I would not choose them.
So would you say they were just default? That you would they would have to come down to it like a default decision.
Yeah, they're just not sort of they're not people or personalities in some cases that I believe would mesh well. And you know, like I mentioned earlier, I can understand wanting second chances, but there's some cases where you get your opportunity, and if you burn that opportunity, then you've burned that opportunity.
Okay, Alex, you want to ask that question you're cooking on?
Yeah, you kind of answered it, but you mentioned shift 3 essentially being a higher standard and even listed some examples. Is there anything else that would lead you to believe that the other shifts are ran differently with their training that has created this sort of divide?
If you look through most command reports for other shifts, you'll see that shift 3 officers, or shift 3 command and seniors typically provide input, and a lot of the time those inputs just aren't followed through. Um, there's a lot of cases where we'll look at incidents that happen in other shifts, and we'll say, well, this is what this should be. This is the punishment that should be dealt. This is what should happen. Um, and then we look at each other and say, yeah, that shift's not going to do that. It's probably just going to be a slap on the wrist. And I mean, that's just matter of fact because that's just how it has been. In most every case where we hold our shift to our standard, we punish people when they make mistakes, and we keep that standard across our shift. We hold everyone to the same expectations, and those expectations are not held in the other shifts.
Okay. Uh, what do you think the PD could do to bridge this gap to have standards across all 3 shifts?
I think it loops around to that sort of mentality shift that's needed, and the understanding that DAPs aren't the end of the world. The existence of a DAP was at its core created to deter further issue. It was created so that hey, you're being punished for this. Don't do it again. Learn from the mistake. And I feel like because of a few people taking them way out of line, and also just simply put fucking up a lot to accumulate a lot of these DAPs, they gained this opinion that they are the end all be all, that if you get DAP, it's the end of the fucking world, when it's not. The DAPs are supposed to just be a sort of get back on track. Don't get more. Don't keep fucking up. Get in line, square up, sort your shit out, and keep going. Don't make the mistake again. But DAPs are not viewed like that. And as a result, you get this opinion that you have to be, if you're on duty, you have to be perfect. You cannot make mistakes. You cannot have fun, because if you have fun, you're going to get punished, when it's not the case. So it comes down to just a mindset shift, and that, I think, again, comes from the top. There needs to be a clear, set standard, and an outline of understanding. And when people bitch and complain about being punished, it's a matter of, learn from your mistakes and don't do it again. It's not a matter of bending your knee to them because they're complaining that they're getting punished. They're getting punished because they fucked up and they deserve the punishment. If they didn't fuck up, they wouldn't be punished. Like I said earlier, I've been in this department since December, since the very, very beginning, since day one. I have been dapped one time since that entire time, and it was for a simple fuck up. It was one DAP. It was for missing a warrant, and at the time I didn't even know there was a warrant active for that person because our MDT didn't show an active warrant for a person unless we checked the dashboard and saw it like ourselves. We had to check the dashboard every time we made an arrest and make sure somebody didn't have a warrant. I have not been dapped since then, and I have not made that same mistake since then. Of course, I was helped by the ability to see when people have warrants to not miss that, but it's not a hard task to not get dapped, and I was able to receive a dap and carry on my life as is and keep doing my job as is. It was not the end of the world for me, and I just don't think that that is how they are viewed by many. I think they are skewed in it's a skewed vision of daps and punishment.
Okay. Does
I
it?
have
Yeah, go ahead.
I have a follow up to all what you've said. Have you ever got a pushback when it comes to punishing a cadet or any officer in your field or in your department?
Have I gotten a pushback when punishing? I haven't quite had the opportunity since becoming a sergeant to kind of dish out a punishment. I haven't had any situations thus far where that's been necessary. As a senior, I came forth with suggestions and recommendations. I don't think I've ever gotten really any pushback. The only thing I can think of maybe was where a situation where somebody's first offense, and I was the one who brought up the suggestion. It's either going to be a DAP or 3 DAPs, or we give them a warning because it's the first time that they've made this fuck up and they owned up to it immediately, and we opted for a warning. But I wouldn't say that that was a pushback, and it was a sort of mutual agreement between everybody that if he fucks up again, he gets DAP for it, sort of thing. And that's sort of the standard that we hold. I can't think of any situations where I've been directly pushed back and argued with about punishment being placed.
Do you think you have that impression, like if you dish out a punishment, you will get some sort of a blowback, or will you be told not to do that?
Not in shift 3.
What about as an entirety of PD and your position as a sergeant?
I don't think that I would be able to go into any other shift and apply any punishment to any other person without getting blowback. And I think that falls on the standard and expectation I hold with this shift around me, and the expectations that we all hold around shift 3, that they are just higher. So it's just not something that I would I would think would work out well for me.
Are you able to punish people who come into your ship, though?
I think yeah. If somebody came into our shift and fucked around, there's this expectation that if you're going into another shift that you behave as is with that shift, that you respect their expectations. And I think if somebody came into our shift and they fucked up and they fucked up enough to the point where like I would need to punish them, then I would do so. And I honestly don't know if I would get blowback or not from that if there were another shift officer coming into our shift and getting punished. I don't know. But I also don't, I guess, quite have the full experience of it yet. I've only been a sergeant for 19 days. So still quite new to all of that, I suppose.
All right, I have no follow ups.
Does anyone else have any other questions concerning what we discussed thus far?
Nope.
Okay. Sergeant Maple, I'm going to be asking you some basic policing questions. What is the difference between RS and PC?
Evidence. If you want me to go into more detail, I will.
Yes, please do.
Reasonable suspicion is typically based off of a hunch, based off of police experience. It is not sufficient enough to make an arrest, but it is sufficient enough to place somebody into detainment, question them, conduct an investigation, and try and determine if there is enough feasible evidence to make an arrest with probable cause. Probable cause is the knowledge that we have evidence that a crime was committed. We have proof in some way, shape, or form, and charges can be applied. Charges can be pressed. A suspect can be arrested. A warrant can be placed for their arrest. And of course, they can be searched because they're under arrest. If you wanted me to add that in there too. I don't know how much detail you want me to go into.
I'll ask and clarify, like I am now. Is there anything else outside of questioning the person while you have RS that you can do?
Yeah, I could GSR test someone. It's part of the investigation. If you have reason to believe that they may be armed and dangerous, you can frisk them under Terry Frisk. But if you don't have reason to believe that they are armed, dangerous, or may hold a weapon, and then you have no reason to frisk them.
Follow up. Can you give me an applicable scenario?
In which I
Any scenario. Design me a scenario.
a scenario for what to frisk somebody or
Apply RS and PC.
Okay. I mean, I'll just go relatively simple here, I guess. We have reports of a shots fired call. So at San Andreas and North Rockford, arrive on scene. There's an individual there on scene, in the area of the call. Stop that person, detain them. They're in the area of a call, and reports of shots fired. At that point, I can detain that person. I can GSR test that person to see if they have fired a weapon anytime recently, if they have any gunshot residue. If they do, I then have reason to frisk that person for a firearm, and then I can frisk them for a firearm if they are not cooperating with me, or if they are not, if they haven't provided sort of any sort of proof or evidence that a firearm was used in self-defense up to that point. Frisk them for a bulge. If I find the firearm and they are GSR positive, I have my PC for an arrest. It, depending on the situation, probably wouldn't be much more than criminal use of a firearm in that specific scenario. And possession.
All right. Have you written a subpoena and or search warrant?
I think I wrote one search warrant in like January. And I don't think I have had to write any subpoenas or search warrants since.
Okay. So just to touch on that then, can you, like you did for RS and PC, can you provide a scenario where you would write a search warrant?
Let me see that. It's 9537.
Okay. I mean, a run-of-the-mill search warrant would be for somebody who has potentially been involved in recent police robberies and have been caught with police equipment on them, but not all of the equipment that was taken in that robbery was recovered. That would be a reason for a search warrant. Search their property for any additional police equipment that may be in possession, since they were found with some of that police equipment, but not all of it.
Is that how you would articulate the search warrant? Is there anything else in the articulation for the PC, the search warrant, that you would use?
That was more so the scenario in which I would have a reason to write up the search warrant. In terms of like additional details into that search warrant that would need to be applied for the PC to get it approved, I would need to articulate that we have found some of the equipment. We know that they were involved in the robbery. We know that certain aspects were taken and certain possessions were not recovered that were taken by this individual, and we can, with that knowledge, push for a search warrant to discover or to locate any of the remaining police equipment that may have
I need
been
to clear up the whole treasure thing, man.
taken.
Like
Well, that
it would
was
be
taken,
so much
sorry.
easier if they
Not that
have
may
to
have
like
been,
if
that
they
was
had to
taken.
declare the treasure position. You know what I mean? Like if they.
Where is Espinosa?
I don't know, but he's loud.
It's okay.
All right. Have you read your department SOPs?
Yeah.
I feel like
It's been a while,
I think
and
they
they are a
should
little
be
bit out of date
obligated to,
now,
you
I
know what I
think.
mean?
But yeah,
What is your opinion of the SOPs?
I think they're out of date. I also think that I remember when they were first made, when we all came back, that it was a reports had to be completed within 24 and 48 hours, respectively, for guilty and not guilty plea, and that has been changed to 48 and 72 hours, which I think is a mistake. I don't think that they should have. I don't think there needs to be that much of a time gap between reports being written. What else with our SOPs? I mean, most of it's just run-of-the-mill stuff. I don't think there's. I'm trying to think off the top of my head because I'll be honest with you, I don't read the SOPs every day. I don't think about them every day. Most of it's just kind of common sense for me.
So I have a question. Without looking at your SOPs, do you believe that the LSPD is designed to be a reactive or a proactive policing environment?
I mean, it's always our job to be proactive. It's part of our use of force matrix. So first use of force is to be present to try and deter the crime, right? So I would say proactive.
As a side note, that is what is listed in SOPs, is that you were designed to be a proactive police department. Moving on to that, because you mentioned force, in your opinion, what is the definition of excessive force?
I mean, it's using I guess to put it simply, I probably a like a 2-level increase of force, I guess, if that makes sense. So I shouldn't be using lethal force on somebody who is just throwing
What is
hands.
that about?
That would be excessive force because they're using level 3 and I'd be using level 5, and that's just unnecessary.
So you go off the force matrix then.
The force matrix, yeah.
Okay. Do you have another question to add on to that, or can I ask?
No, I'm done with excessive force. If you want to ask about that, then that's fine.
It's a little bit different. It's about force. It's a scenario involving stand your ground. So just to run you through it, you're at Senior Buns ordering. Someone comes in, and you see them getting attacked. They pull out their Glock and they shoot them down. You know, you go through that process. They do have a license. Essentially, what would you do in that type of scenario?
What were they attacking with? Were they attacking with a gun?
So let's say the person attacking the guy with the Glock charged them with a hatchet.
With Leah.
And they were swinging, and you were a witness to that. And then, but before you can intervene, the individual with the Glock shot the guy with the hatchet down.
I mean, that's pretty straightforward self-defense. As long as the person has a weapons license and is in possession of the weapon registered to them, and they're cooperating entirely with officers, I don't see any inherent issue with that description. I mean, I would get involved. I would collect evidence. I would document the situation. The suspect who ran, based off of what has been provided at this point in time, the individual who appeared to be instigating would be placed in cuffs because they were fairly attempting to assault somebody with a deadly weapon, and the individual with the firearm was defending themselves.
Okay.
I think I would also probably take the weapon and just run it through evidence. Like hold on to it for since it was used. And yeah, go about it as need be.
And
Press the charges necessary.
adding on to that, they stop by the PD, you finish running it, and they say, "Can I have my Glock back?" Would you give it back to them?
I don't think I'd be able to return that until it's out of statute of limitations. It's in evidence now. It's part of a case.
Okay, but once it is, you would give them back their Glock?
Once there's no more need for that weapon to be in evidence and it is legally their weapon, I don't see an issue of returning that firearm to them.
Okay.
I have a follow up.
Okay.
Are you aware of the legislations?
I try to be, but they change every fucking day, it seems.
Can you talk about weapons, firearm legislation,
What about it?
licensing, how many you can have, anything that you know?
I believe you can only have one firearm every 2 weeks. So you shouldn't really have more than one firearm at a time. Your weapons license will be revoked from you if you commit a violent felony. Actually, I think it's violent felony and or violent misdemeanor now, which is new. I think it was changed to that. I don't remember exactly.
Can you elaborate on every 2 weeks part?
I'm pretty sure the guy down at fucking ammunition will only sell civilians firearms every 2 weeks. So
Does that mean you
since
should be buying every 2 weeks?
no, absolutely not.
Okay.
But typically, if people do buy weapons every 2 weeks, there is a red flag because they shouldn't be. That could be stockpiling firearms. You should
Okay.
only really ever own one firearm, and that's really the only one you need.
Are Class 2 illegals in our town?
Yes.
Is there any Class 2 licensing?
Not that I'm aware of.
All right.
What weapons are illegal in terms of Class 1?
The GC17X, I think, is the name of the manufactured one. There's also that makeshift fucking sewer pistol, the makeshift 1911. Those are illegal firearms,
Eh,
just in period, regardless of if there's a weapons license involved or not.
Okay, and what are the legal firearms that a civilian may own?
The M1911.
Anything else?
I don't think there's another gun.
For the record, there is
can you
not.
state?
There's
Yeah.
only one.
Yeah.
Okay.
Can
kind of a
you
bait.
tell us criminal negligent ownership of a firearm charge?
That is when a individual does not report their firearm stolen and it has been located on a person or in possession of another person, not registered that firearm, and used in the commission of a crime. I mean, even if it's not used in the commission of a crime, if essentially somebody else is in possession of their firearm and is not reported stolen.
All right.
Regardless of you can't give people your gun to use, so that is negligently owning a firearm.
What is statute of limitations?
30 days.
What happens if you find a gun today, but the gun was already bought 10 months ago?
The gun was hot 10 months ago or bought 10 months ago? I didn't
Bought
quite hear
10 months ago, but you're finding a gun on the streets today.
When the gun was bought doesn't matter.
Good. Statute of limitations starts on the discovery of the crime.
Yeah.
All right. I have no follow-ups.
All right. One last question, and this is a little cerebral. What is the concept of chain of command?
It is a chain that should be followed for like anything really. So if a cadet has any questions about essentially anything, they go to their next rank up, which would be well, ideally an FTO if they could, but an officer, and then officer up to or PPO up. Well, PPO and cadet are kind of, I would consider both cadet and PPO should be going to officer, and then officer to senior officer to sergeant up the chain. To the concept of it is to lower the workload for the uh, higher up on the chain, because there's enough on the plates of high command and command that we don't need to deal with every single little tiny issue. So I will have seniors come to me to deal with the situation so that Sky doesn't need to deal with it because she's got enough that she's got to deal with on a daily basis. That I think would be the concept, if that makes sense.
Do you agree or disagree with the chain of command?
What? It's great. Chain of command is very important. Delegation is extremely important. That's the word I was looking for. Delegation.
I have no further questions. Anybody else?
No, I'm all good here.
Okay. Sergeant Maple, do you have anything for us? Any questions? Is there anything you want to state that hasn't already been stated?
I don't think so. I think I've sort of said everything that I'd like to have said with all the questions that were asked.
Okay, perfect. We will conclude this audit at 4:31 a.m. PST. Let me turn this. Beep. You feel as though that was the therapy you called me about?
Yeah.
You feeling better there, buddy?
Yeah.
All right.
All right.
Man.
Well, it's lovely speaking to you. Good
It's
to
been
see
a hellish 9 months. Wait, what month is it now? October?
October.
It's been a hellish 11 months.
November.
you.
All right, let me make sure I can get you out then. Thanks for calling.
Thank you for interrogating me.
Oh, you would have known if it was an interrogation.
Oh, I'm well aware. I'm just playing.
I've been told I'm very scary in interrogations somehow. I don't know why.
I believe that.
What do you mean you believe that?
Oh, I believe it. Makes sense.
Hmm.
You can be I think you come off as quite intimidating with your kind of ability to answer to ask the right questions.
I think so. All right.
Did I answer any questions wrong?
There were no wrong answers.
Okay, good.
All right. Have a good shift, Sergeant Maple. Stay safe.
Good night.
This motherfucker going, did I do something wrong, Peepo Shy? I think that was just Syl.
Injustice.
Did you see what I did
No.
with that weapon scenario question? How I
No,
emphasized
it
the
wasn't.
Glock?
I don't write down scenario questions because it's too much to type and my fingies hurt.
Oh yeah. Do you go back through the audit and review the recording to like get the exact wording, or do you just leave it be? Just let it,
My typing is usually quick enough I can get nearly exactly. I'm not putting a transcript in there. If it's necessary for someone to question something on there, they can review the audio recording themselves.
Okay. Yeah, the scenario question is basically what we were talking about before. Someone stands their ground, but they used a different weapon, not an M1911. So they have a license, but like I changed it to where they had a Glock, which isn't legal, to own.
Correct.
So that's what I was kind of aiming for.
Yeah, I
picked
think
up on it with
I
the
think
weapon legislation.
Yep, which is why I asked about the weapon legislation. So. Very cool.
Smart.
I knew it was a basic question, like it was under the basic questions, drop thing. So I didn't want to make it too complicated, Keep it basic.
I would agree.
Cool. I need food.
There's food in the room, and I also need food. I need snackies. It's an early day, which we're about to wrap up.
In regards to shift 1 LSPD to you?
Viv, no, but like I've known her for a while. Like I worked with her for a bit last year, and like you can tell that she's stressed.
They're having a recording. Is Anna in here? Hey, Richard.
Hey, can you come with me? And are you busy right now?
No. If you need me, I got you.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, come with me.
Okay.
I was just looking at Vargo stuff. Nice hat.
Do you need
Okay.
me to go?
What
Do you need me to go UC? Or?
Yeah, I'm free. What do you want?
what rank are you
Okay.
guys?
Rookie.
Rookie.
Both
I think we're all
rookies?
rookies.
Yeah,
think we're all
I'm
rookies.
also a
Rookies too,
rookie.
Skyler?
Yep.
Okay, I don't want to take you all. Okay.
You can take them. I'm out in the field a lot, so.
No, I just need someone to. Hold on. Who else is here?
Anna Espinosa.
Espinosa and Anna.
What's Anna doing?
I think she went out front or in the reception area.
Hold on.
How's everybody doing? I hope you're well.
Any of you
guys
guys have a guy called Jacob Green's phone number?
I've never heard of that guy before.
No.
Shit.
I save
well.
every number, but no.
What's worth a crack?
Let's see.
Oh, I don't know if you finished telling me. What were you working on exactly?
I was just looking through. I want to investigate Vargos, but so I basically found a report and I was just going through it, and I'm looking at incidents involving
Just get your corrected birth certificate. That's
Shazza Dobby, and I'm just going to put on her
amazing. I love that
profile
for
if she's
you.
found with Vargos again to give her a Vargos tag. It's basically it so far.
Okay.
But I've got no really active case. And this guy called
Same.
Jacob Green, like a week ago, gave an officer called Quangle permission to look through his phone, like phone subpoena his phone.
Yeah, there's ain't no way I'm looking back
but
an hour.
he didn't get
You guys
the
mind
guy's
whispering?
phone
You
number.
guys mind whispering?
So...
We're doing an audit.
Alfie.
Okay, sorry.
Alfie, whisper.
Sorry.
All the legal bane and ginger
So he
stuff
didn't
is
get his
done
phone
password
number,
hit.
so we've got
Yep,
permission
my
to look
password
through
was
a
the first
guy
thing I did.
who's basically going to write
And then
out
I got everything else
Vargo's
corrected
his
back
phone,
because that
but
was
then
a
didn't
federal
get his
document.
phone number, so we, you know,
Oh.
I can't find out anything I want to about Vargos.
Let's step a bit more to the right just to make sure they. just a little bit.
Trying to whisper,
Just to make absolutely sure. Okay. I don't know. On my side, I just started a report on Carmine. I'm going to compile everything.
Nice.
Alleged and
Audit. Where's the master?
It's a long list.
report?
From what I know
glad
about
you're
it.
doing well.
Yeah. Did you know? I actually just found this out. I don't know. Common sense would indicate that police would have
701.
DOC reports access so they can like fill in their statements for when they respond to DOC. They don't actually.
I don't believe that police should have access to DOC reports. I think they should be separated.
Yeah, yeah. I guess in every instance, DOC is above police in prison, so
They could just
it might be.
the DOC can just take the report or the statement.
Yeah.
I guess, but then like I was looking at the Carmine thing and I was like, oh, he doesn't have a statement in this thing, but like it's not really like, would you still factor that as Carmine's fault for not getting the statement, or should DOC get the statement?
DOC found it prevalent because you have to consider if you give them access to put a report in, how many people are going to go in, delete stuff that would be the DOC reports, look at the information concerning DOC that has nothing to do with their purview.
No, I was just saying like Carmine, how he has to fill out a statement, like 'cause, for instance, like he shot that person, Ember, in the prison. So
Yeah,
it's like, so would that fall more on Carmine or DOC for not getting a statement because he used his gun?
One, DOC can take a statement. Two, he could just make a separate report saying I shot someone in prison.
Okay, true. Yeah. So I guess I suppose it would still fall on him.
Yeah, if he didn't make a report about it, or if he just assumed or were told by DOC that they make a report. Yeah, I don't think it's that big of a deal. I don't think it's that deep.
I'm of the mindset that like if you shoot your gun, you've like yes, there's corroborating, whatever, backup evidence that it was a good shoot, but I feel like even if you shoot your gun, you should also have a statement, whether it be brief or not, or corroborated or not. It should be. I think you should have a statement
Kia McNulty.
because lethal force is quite
14616.
serious.
Correct. 14703. All right, I need to get out of here. I'm gonna clock off, go home. Do you guys need anything from me? I'm like an hour past where I should have been.
No, I'm good.
Okay,
Sleep well.
all right. You guys do.
Bye.
Lay back here.
We're doing our job, okay?
I'm gonna clock out. Do you guys need anything from me?
No.
Okay, then.
Okay. All right.
Thank you.
You guys have a good morning.
Bye.
All right, chat. We're going to find somebody. Today's a very short stream. I have work today and tomorrow. Some really big, important things in my real life job I need to super handle. So we're going to see if we can find you guys somewhere to go. Anywhere in particular? Anyone streaming that you're interested in going to check out? We'll head over there. Let's see.
Clay? Night?
Yeah.
All right, get on channel 12, all right? We're getting out of here.
We're getting out of
That's not
here.
one.
No, because we need to communicate. How else are we going to communicate?
How did this stream?
Listen, half the PD's here, and there's only one. There's only one patrol unit.
Wait, is there? Oh yeah. Sounds like Sock's gonna go have fun. Let's get you guys over there. Yeah. Let's get you over to Sock. He's gonna do some fun stuff with Dark. Alright guys, I appreciate you so much. If you're not following, please feel free to drop a follow. It helps so much with ensuring that my people can end up seeing my channel. I know I'm not super big. I've had a lot of traction in the last few days, last week, and I really appreciate you all so very much. I just need to focus on my full-time job. You guys have a great one. Enjoy your morning. Enjoy the op with the rookies in Dark. I'll see you guys later this weekend.